Folks, we are live here on WCBS, where tonight we're having a very special, mega, super, ultimate, amazing, spectacular, sensational, dare I say, superior episode to what else you're going to find here on the internet. Tonight, we're talking about leaks, we're talking about entertainment, and we're talking directly to you guys. I'm your host, Jeff. You know me. I don't even need to introduce myself. I've been doing this for over 10 years at this point. Well, we're going to be doing it for a few years more. But I am not alone. Tonight, I am joined by my wonderful co-hosts and a guest. First off, from the Rippaverse, you know him, you love him. Say hello to Andy Andrew.
What's going on, Jeff? What's going on, chat? It is great to see you. Great to be back. We are so close to Christmas, and I can't wait. I'm incredibly excited because I am about to be on vacation starting tomorrow through Monday. So I am... My phone is going to be disconnected from work-related things, and I am just going to enjoy spending time with my family and getting away from all of the mental midgetry of the online sphere.
Bro, good luck with that.
Yeah, good luck. I was going to text you every single day and talk about Spider-Man. So anyways, we're on Spider-Man number 16 today. But folks, let's say hello to our other co-host for the evening. From the Great White North, say hello to the Script Doctor.
Hey, happy to be here this evening. Yeah, it's cold. That's why I've got the beard. Decided not to shave. Grows pretty quick. Only took a week.
I thought you were like Reed Richards, The Coming of Galactus. So you're so deep into work. You're just like, I can't even be bothered to be shaved. I have to save the universe.
I've been there before with some writing assignments.
Something tells me that even an only week-old beard on script is still more masculine and better trimmed than whatever was growing on Reed Richards' face in that movie.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I don't put anything in my beard. I should. I'm constantly being told that. It's very au naturel, but I keep it as groomed as I can.
You know, in the new year Script, I want to do a whole series, either in here, membership, or Patreon, where it's Script Doctor's Beard Tips. So for those who are follically challenged, you can have the nicest, richest, most luxurious beard in 2026, because I need it. I can't grow a beard. It doesn't look good on me. I did it during the pandemic. But we'll talk about beards in just a second. We have a guest this evening, folks. We've had him on the channel before. It's always been a great time, and I'm happy to have him back. Say hello to the master of the TDS.
Hello, nice to be here again.
Happy to have you, man. We're going to be talking about some topics that you've been discussing over on X, and we're going to jump into those in just a second. I want to make a quick few announcements, and we're getting into the show tonight, folks. So I see those numbers rolling up. Everybody that's coming in, if you're watching on Twitter, give us a share. It helps. But if you're watching on YouTube, hit that thumbs up button to help YouTube find us, or help you find us easier in the algorithm. Now, a couple quick things. Stealing Solo 2 came and went. It is over and done with. I'd like to thank everybody who made it a success. We more than doubled our funding goal, so that was awesome, especially this time of year with the way everything's going. I consider that a massive win. Also, folks, if you join me for my 15 hours of streaming on Thursday, I survived. I'm alive, but I'm not wearing a jacket today because I just don't really feel like it. So I'll be back on Thursday in the normal world-class attire. But if you're a member, you're able to check out the 12-hour of Power stream, where I didn't realize I was at hour 12. It really went smooth. It went fast. And thank you to everybody who joined me. We had a lot of fun. We moved a lot of books, and we really got well past our goal. So I will give you guys a new update as a thank you over on the Kickstarter page. But there really isn't a bunch to share outside of spoiling the book, but you don't want that spoiled for you. So I will give you guys updates regularly to let you know when stuff's coming, when stuff's going to print, and just be on the lookout for that. But make sure you fill out your backer survey. So I have your addresses and your shirt sizes and all the information I need to get you all of your Stealing Solo 2 merchandise. And for anybody out there that says, damn it, Jeff, I couldn't get paid in time, or I was, doing stuff for the holidays. Don't worry, folks. The way my business model is it's really not for me to make a bunch of money off the books in the beginning. It's to get a product, a high-end book, lots of copies and stuff that I can take to cons and ship to stores and do all that. So we'll have it on the Stealing Solo website late next year. But for those who have the book or who back the book, thank you very much. Now, let's go from one comic book universe to another. Mine doesn't have a name yet. We'll call it the world-class universe for now. But let's start talking about the Spider-Man leak first. Or wait, no. Master TDS, you just know about the Avengers stuff, correct?
I actually have seen both. So
all right, well, let's talk about Spidey, only because I have the image pulled up, and there's a bunch of Spider-Man stuff behind me. So, folks, we have, what do we have, like 9 Spider-Man movies, right? No, 8. There's 2 trilogies and it's 2 off. Anyway, long story short, Spider-Man is Marvel's biggest cash cow, and he's coming back in 2026. People have been talking about this trailer for a long time, and just a few hours ago, this allegedly leaked over on social media. I've seen it on Twitter. It got taken down. I saw it on Reddit. It got taken down. I had to do some more searching, but I finally found it. And well, I've seen it. And, Masters TDS, why don't we start with you first, man? What did you think of this leak?
So it's kind of sad that it's gotten to the point now with Marvel that very little excites me, like, at all. And Spider-Man has still been kind of one thing that's still gotten my attention. So when I saw that it was a leak and I saw that it was legitimate and it wasn't one of the couple AI ones floating out there, I did give it a watch. And I mean, it's clearly unfinished, so I don't think it was intended for us to see. But from what I did see, I mean, I guess the best endorsement I can give it is it didn't make me not excited, but I don't think it like excited me either, if that makes sense. It was just kind of, okay, like that doesn't, move me either way.
That's how I felt, because coming in off of the last Spider-Man film from 4 years ago at this point, I'm in a happy place. Meaning, I liked where the movie ended. I'm picking up merchandise when it comes out. I'm pretty good with Spider-Man. I know it's a weird way to describe that, but I didn't really feel much outside of, hey, Amazing Fantasy 15 was kind of referenced in the trailer. And you make a great point about where we are with Marvel, that these quote-unquote leaks are really what's getting used, or is being used for people to talk about the movie, because there's no more gas in the engine. That thing stalled out years ago, and now it's kind of like an afterthought. Even on I know I always bring up the merchandise, but that's our cornerstone here. Even in the toy stores, Marvel has a smaller presence than ever. You can go for my local stores, and I live in a big area. You can find Spider-Man and Captain America. That's it on the shelves. DC's got tons of characters. So I think Marvel's in a weird place. But Script, Andrew, did you guys have a chance to check this out?
No,
I have not yet.
If you can drop the link to it in the private chat, I'll give it a whirl. But this is the first I've seen of the screenshots, which don't look horrible.
Screenshots look fine. It's hard to get excited for MCU stuff these days. The last thing I saw, which I admittedly enjoyed quite a lot, was Thunderbolts. But that was the first thing I'd enjoyed in a handful of years from them. There hasn't been much in phases 4 and 5 that I enjoyed, even in the slightest, and certainly not much in the way that's gotten me genuinely enthusiastic for what's to come. I don't really have any interest in the upcoming Doomsday. I don't know. Like, I don't know what else there is to say about the MCU at this point. Like, I'm glad that the suit looks really good. It's probably the second best looking suit. But that's really all I've got on it.
Yeah. I dropped it in the chat. It's only about a minute long, but yeah, the suit is right. The feeling of, Spider-Man fighting the Hand, and there's the Punisher, and I think the Hulk's alleged to be in it. Like, Spider-Man has always been Marvel's. I'm trying to come up with a good example. Like, in color, you can put black with anything and it always works. You can put Spider-Man with anybody in Marvel and it always works. I mean, Marvel 2-in-1 used to be Spider-Man and Marvel Team Up. Marvel Team Up used to be Spider-Man and another character. The 2-in-1 was with the Thing, excuse me. But he's always been like that. And I do think he works on film as just this perfect generic representation of superheroes. You can just put him in anywhere. So I hope that it kind of continues to be as fun as it was. But I tell you, after the couple years of Marvel being just a waste of time, I wouldn't be surprised if we get a very 2016 style movie with MJ or whatever the new universe is. I'm never above being worried about that, because Marvel's never disappointed me every time they pull that out.
Right. So I hear you when you talk about, you being able to slot Spidey into just about anything. He works. He works when he works. I will say, however, that specifically with regards to the MCU, so we're talking Tom Holland's Peter Parker, his Spider-Man. One of my biggest issues with him has been that he has not been able to truly stand on his own. He's been propped up by somebody else in just about every single movie that he has been in. And it's I think it's high time for him to actually be a solo hero and a solo character. So I'm not particularly enthused about the idea that we're going to have these, whether it's a cameo or whether it's, more significant than that, talking about the Hulk, talking about, Punisher. I don't, yes, in the comics, I've read all these team ups and I love when he's teamed up with people, but I don't read the Amazing Spider-Man comic for the team ups. I read it because I want to read a book that's specifically about Peter. And
you're telling me you didn't read
self-track.
Amazing Spider-Man like 289, where he teams up with Ollie Osnick, the Amazing Spider Kid, who wears the arms of Dr. Octopus and the costume of Spider-Man? Come on, what are you?
Sounds familiar. I've read a great many of these books. However, he needs to have an actual solo movie and be able to stand or crawl on his own 2 feet. Because as it stands, he's never going to be able to get out of the shadow of other characters if he doesn't.
Well said. What do you guys think about that point? Script Master, what do you guys think?
I kind of agree. I think that, especially given the way they launched him in the MCU, and I know there was rights issues and everything until they kind of threw him in, but because a lot of people's criticism of the Spider-Man in the MCU have been like, oh, he's like Iron Boy, he's like Iron Man's, like is taking care of him, and it doesn't give him a chance to be on his own. And so I know that some people were kind of interested in this outing of him because seemed like after the last one where it left off that we would get like that solo movie where he's on his own with lower stakes and stuff like that. And it seems like instead we're finding out that, and again, this could still be a decent movie, but like we're finding out that we got the Punisher, and then we got the Hulk, and then we got this and we got that. And it's like, that's great and all, and it could still work because it is Spider-Man. But at the same time, I was kind of hoping for like a return to form, so to speak. Like, I'll bring up, I'm a fan of the Tobey Maguire movies, so I'll bring up like Spider-Man 2, the first Spider-Man, even Spider-Man 3, aside from like some parts of it. Like, I was hoping for a story that was more Spider-Man centric, and I'm not sure that's what we're getting, because it kind of seems like we're getting like a team up with Hulk and Punisher, and it's like that could work, but like, where is the plot going to go here? So
I think that's a good point, because maybe Marvel thinks that the only thing they have left are these big, massive crossovers. Avengers, even the Thunderbolts did not make money. It was a movie with multiple heroes. I have most Spider-Man books out in my front room in my big white boxes. I love the character, but all the best issues are him by himself. I mean, even in my favorite book, the first annual, he might run into Thor. He might swing past so-and-so, but it's him fighting the Sinister Six by himself. And I think that's what most people that actually pay attention to the character gravitate towards, is the whole guy who's doing it by himself. Like, his personal life sucks. His superheroing is he's alone. Everybody hates him, but it's this morality that he has to do, great power, responsibility. And I do want to see that on film. What I really hope to see is him being Spider-Man, like just flat out, not like learning from the Punisher, not trying to learn from the Hulk, just doing his own thing. And maybe they just show up, or, just small tidbits, maybe flashbacks, maybe something. But I too just don't want to watch him share the spotlight to where he's like second bill, essentially.
No, I concur with that. I like to see Spider-Man front and center. I didn't have a problem with him getting a little bit of mentorship from Tony Stark. What I had a problem with is that in every subsequent sequel, it felt like he was still getting mentorship from either Tony Stark or another character. And yeah, I know what they were trying to do. They were trying to kind of repeat the Luke Skywalker story arc, where he gets mentored by Obi-Wan, then he gets mentored by Yoda, and then he officially goes on his own with the third, which they did follow, but I don't know if it worked as well, because when you have his appearance in Civil War, you have his appearance in the 2 Avengers, Endgame, and Infinity War films, they were still repeating the same type of dynamic relationship, as that Peter Parker was this hero in training, as opposed to coming into his own and being solo. And I think that kind of hurt the overall stigma of the character. So now we're in this new situation where he's completely on his own. He has no Aunt May. So ideally, Marvel won't be able to repeat some of the mistakes that the comics have done with Aunt May and Peter and how he's clung to her for weird reasons. But the other part too is that Marvel is always going to be using their films to beef up other characters to start their own series. Like right now, Marvel, it cannot use the Hulk individually on its own. Has to be an Avengers film or a character in another existing title. So they're going to use the Hulk anytime they can. I know that there's talks about them trying to do a Punisher film, or maybe a streaming series.
What would that look like in the modern day with Disney, Disney's belief system, or how a lot of people in the industry think about the Punisher or those topics or guns in general? Like, is it even worth using the Punisher anymore?
I mean, with the current Disney belief system, they would most likely want to make him less of an anti-hero and more of like on the cusp of villainy. Like, an abuse of skills, power, and also a person that doesn't believe in the justice system and then has a morbid interpretation of justice. The other part too is, they might pull a war zone thing, where Punisher kills an innocent man or an undercover cop and has to deal with that area there. I always found if you want to do a really good deconstruction of the Punisher, you have him clean up the entire city of New York, and then he starts kind of just going after lesser crimes and taking them out that way, to the point where he then has to realize, like, what I did was good, but now I'm in the obsessive mode and I'm not honoring my family anymore. I'm now just this beast that has gone crazy. But really, the Punisher is at his best when he is precise, when his heart is leading forward. I mean, don't make the Punisher the same as he was introduced back in the late 70s, where he's what was it, the was it the Jackal or the Jekyll or something?
It was the Jackal. It's like Spider-Man 129, I think.
Yeah.
The only reason I know it's because it's an expensive book I don't own.
Yeah, so like his first appearance, I mean, was interesting, but it just also made him look like, oh, he's kind of foolish. And then later on in subsequent issues, you'd find out, he's ex-Vietnam soldier. He's targeting these criminals, and he ends up having a decent friendship with Spider-Man for a while in that period, if I'm not mistaken.
They team up. Okay, I do comic books by actual like dates, like publication years. So that's in the early to mid 70s, but by the like 1980, because John Romita Jr. drew the book, and I know when he was on it, they team up. Like, there are a lot of issues where the Punisher and Spider-Man team up, and even through the 80s, it was interesting how Marvel would market like 4 characters. It was Punisher, Hulk, Spider-Man, and it was like the fourth was interchangeable. Sometimes they're pushing Captain America, sometimes they're pushing Venom, sometimes they're pushing somebody. But before this big like 1990s boom of like the cartoons into the movies with Blade and stuff, the Punisher was always that like in that window of like most marketed character. And I just wonder if they're going to go back to using him like that. I think he resonates in an interesting way if he's allowed to be the Punisher.
Well, I think. Sorry,
yep.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead, Master.
Well, I was going to say, no one had brought up that we've actually seen exactly what they're going to do with the Punisher. If any of you have seen Daredevil Born Again, I know that wasn't that great, but what they did with him in Daredevil Born Again, I think we're going to see more of that, making the guys, for people who don't know, and I guess spoilers for anybody who hasn't seen Daredevil Born Again, if you want to. I don't recommend it. It wasn't very good, but they made him fight corrupt cops who used his logo, because, there's the whole controversy about his logo. We can't have cops using his logo, so we have to like bash people over the head with, oh, there's corrupt cops and we're going to have them catch the Punisher. And they're like, we love you. We're wearing your logo. And he says something like on the lines of like, you're never going to be me, or you don't even know what the symbol means, or like, I feel like we're going to see more of that. Like, that's my biggest concern with this, is that we've seen them bring back the Punisher already, and they didn't do a really good job with it. And then the Hulk, let's go to the Hulk for a segue. End of She-Hulk. We got randomly brought his son Scar in for no reason, and then that just never got touched on again. So like, are they going to try to shoehorn that in? Like, I wouldn't put it past them. I would hope that they learned not to do that. But like at this point, like it would not surprise me at all if like we get another trailer and Scar's just in it for some reason, or I could totally see them just leaning into what they've done already rather than taking a step back. Unfortunately,
Yeah, possibly.
Okay, I was gonna say I just gave up on Daredevil because they killed off a character I liked in the beginning, and I went, oh well.
Yeah, but how often has he been
I'm
killed
done.
off the comics just to come back?
Oh, I didn't know they. Well, he's not a superhero character, and I don't.
No, yeah, that particular character has faked his death a number of times in the comics,
and they even hint to it in the show that because I think like the address where he dies is the number of the comic book where he fakes his death.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm
pretty sure they're hinting that they'll bring him back, but I mean I don't really know.
They better, because I always liked that guy since the Mighty Ducks. So
yeah,
now,
he's
I'm like, oh.
He's a pretty cool one. And to
they
your
messed
point,
up Punisher in that one so bad. I'm sorry.
Well,
and they didn't help Kingpin either.
They messed him up because so Marvel didn't quite nail exactly what the difference is, because the Punisher is a tragic figure. And in truth be told, he does not want cops to be wearing his symbol or trying to enact like him, because he's got a burden on it. And the other part too is that symbol signifies a person that is not who has his own form of justice and doesn't believe in the justice system. And you don't want cops to ever behave as if they don't believe in the justice system, because that's not what their job is. Their job is to, obey the law, enforce the law, to serve and protect. And the Punisher, it doesn't have an innocent until proven guilty. He makes the judgment on his own, and that's his burden to take on. You don't want cops emulating that. Like, they can
100%.
like the character all they want, but I mean, I have friends who are police officers, and they're like, yeah, I love the Punisher. I'm never going to wear that skull. I don't want people thinking I'm going to shoot them just because I suspect them to be a bad guy or have seen them commit a minor crime. They're getting arrested. They're going to face trial. And, it's the legal system that determines their outcome, not me. That's not my job. That's not my burden. My burden is to risk my life to protect others. Punisher doesn't have that. Like, he's like, no, I'm ending you. I will then train by having a machine that smashes baseball bats into my torso for hours, so I don't feel pain when I'm in a combat situation, so that if I do get outnumbered, I can at least survive, have a better chance of surviving killing these, horrible people immediately. And so they don't get that right to have, justice and due process, because in my eyes, as the Punisher, they don't deserve that. And that's part of the Punisher tragedy.
Do you think the MCU would benefit if they actually just, instead of being hokey and joke filled, just put it on its ear and went kind of like this? Do you think audiences would stick around? And do you think it would bring in people that are looking for a little more depth to the brand? Because sometimes I just look at this and it's so dumb, and it's like, I don't need to watch Ironheart or Secret Invasion or any of these shows because they're just dumb. If they had something to say, I think I could sit through bad characters if it had like a message that I thought was interesting.
Well, there's no nuance to the writers that Disney selects these days. Like, they're still of the old guard of, like, we need representation. We just show that we're a good, caring company, that we give everybody a chance who we think might be oppressed or kept out of this industry. When the entire industry for decades, the only gatekeeping was, are you good enough to make money for us? And that changed. And there's been a post that came out just the other day about like the lost decade, where a number of writers in my generation got very close and got pushed out. And I'm fortunate enough to be one of the few lucky ones that was able to hang on and still work. But so many great, talented people would get so close to an opportunity, and then they'd find out, yeah, we're not going to go in this direction. And then they'd never be 100% told in their faces what it would be, but it'd essentially be some sort of DEI program that usurped showrunners, that usurped producers, that usurped many of the executives that were gung-ho for new shows and new films to come into, because they said, we're not going to fund your thing unless you have X amount of people from X amount of certain immutable traits in your writer's room or in your project. And there's no rhyme or reason why to do it, because if you've ever talked to a Hollywood studio exec, they kind of care what you're pitching. They mostly care, will it make money? That's basically it. And they don't care the rest. Like, they really don't. They, like, as progressive as how Hollywood claims to be, they really do not care about skin color or religious backgrounds or lack thereof or anything of that nature. They mostly just care, can you help me keep my job for one more year by me picking your project and putting it into production? And can it make money? And again, it usually goes in that order because the currency of the entertainment industry is not dollar bills in your wallet. It's reputation, because reputation leads to more jobs and those jobs lead to, more money. But it's always about the reputation. And the reputation is, can you make us money?
Do you think, as we're looking at all of these leaks, that this movie's lined up to make as much money as the last one, which, almost, was it 1 point whatever billion? It was their last, was that the last? No, Deadpool's last $1 billion hit. But prior to that, wasn't Spider-Man the only other $1 billion hit they've had in a while?
I think so.
It used to be all surefire things. It's like Avengers movies. One made 1.5, then the next one made 1.4, then they're in the 2 billion category. Like when we talk about
the
Avengers,
MC used to crap out $1 billion films like it was going out of style.
Look at Captain Marvel. Nothing to do with Brie Larson. That movie made $1 billion. The next one lost, what, 240? Lost. Not just, made 240 less. It lost money. So
the Ant-Man 2 was, so you had Captain Marvel and Ant-Man 2 wedged in between Endgame and Infinity War. Infinity War and Endgame. Captain Marvel was the only one that crossed the $1 billion. Ant-Man 2 didn't. And that had more to do with the anticipation, because the marketing for Captain Marvel was all like, you have to see this in order to understand the payoff of Avengers Endgame. And then
that payoff was seeing her punched out of the film by Thanos. Then that's
well, that well, the fact is that while the reception of Captain Marvel was making its round during a theatrical release and they were wrapping up post-production on Endgame, they completely changed like the last third of the film. Like they got rid of a lot of Brie Larson stuff, because I've heard fun stories on set where, because again, she's a fairly talented actress, and they had some stories of her where she's like, holding back the Hulk so that he's can be, because he's still angry and emotional. He's not Super Hulk yet, and to target him to be used more effectively. She had good camaraderie with Steve Rogers in a couple of scenes that I heard about. She was definitely a more likable character in what they shot for Endgame than what we saw in Captain Marvel. And that's because, and I strongly believe this, that movie had two directors. One person was directing Brie Larson in a film, and the other director was directing everybody else in a film, and neither directors knew which film they were making. And that's why there's so this tone all over the place. And that's why it doesn't really kind of have a more cohesive story. And then on top of that, they were definitely forcing a lot more of Tony Starkisms into the Carol Danvers character. That is not didn't feel authentic, didn't feel like it really held up, because she was being positioned to take over, the mantle of the leader of the Avengers from Robert Downey Jr. The leader of Marvel from Robert Downey Jr.
I'm really glad everything went down the way it did, because while it was a lot of fun to make videos talking about Captain Marvel, if that would have been the direction they went in, like Eternals wouldn't even have been the biggest problem we would have had to face. So I guess it's better than where we're at, but it was such a fun time to be alive doing what we do in 2019. Because, man, I don't know, man. I feel like they're going to try to bring that back next year. Like with these leaks, I feel are either, if they're not real, they're trying to get people to talk at Christmas time about Marvel to get people excited for the next year. Because everyone's got that family member. I'm that in my family. Oh, what's the new movie coming out? Well, we got this one and this one. And if, people start talking about Marvel, kids might get excited. People might be, thinking about it. As of now, I don't think Disney has, well, Avatar is their thing, but like their Marvel, Star Wars, their big brands like that, I don't think people are thinking about them this holiday season. And then that's dangerous. Because a couple Christmases like this, and, something new comes in, and then Marvel's off the table for a while.
Part 2 to the trailer leaked while we're talking. Jeff, I sent you the link in the group chat as well as the private chat here.
Oh, thank you. I will. It's so weird. There have been so many trailers that dropped while I've been on air, between like the Street Fighter trailer and the Supergirl trailer.
Oh yeah. While you were streaming, your long stream, the Supergirl trailer.
I'm surprised this got leaked, because I've already heard, and I saw a couple people talking about it, that they had already found who leaked the first part, and that they already cracked down on it. So the fact that there's a second part out is kind of interesting.
Huh. I mean, this is obviously too dark. It's shot on a screen. It's a little...
Yeah, it's apparently some kind of editing like there's apparently some kind of app. I don't know much about it. I only looked at this like very sparingly, came across it. There's some sort of like program that you can use to like it's like a special app or whatever that they allow you to like preview trailers. And I think someone who got access to it filmed it straight from there, which would explain why it's unfinished. So that's what I heard. I don't know if this is true or not, so take it with a grain of salt. But
look, if what I'm looking at's real, I mean, the Spider-Man suit looks great. His eyes change shape again, so I guess they're just that's that level of Marvel now. We don't have realistic stuff written, and it's just like, oh, his eyes change shape because emotion. Even though that's not always been a thing in the comic books, but I won't complain about that. Anyway, long story short, if what I'm looking at's real, okay. I mean, it looks completely serviceable. It doesn't look bad. It's just Spider-Man swinging around, jumping over some explosions. It feels very or New York set, which is what the character should always be. Not going to space is fine every once in a while, but like, I don't want to watch Spider-Man in Washington, D.C. I don't want to see Spider-Man in the Everglades of Florida, except unless he's fighting the lizard. Let's talk though. Do we think these leaks are real? Doesn't matter if we're right or wrong. We're just guessing here. But based on what you guys have seen and had access to, would you say they're real? We'll start with you, Master. How do you feel about it?
Honestly, I've seen the versions of them of all these trailers floating around. I think these ones from Spider-Man are very real because they look. Again, I've heard some chatter that they are very much real, and they also have been getting copyright claimed by places. So I would imagine if it was fake, they would just leave it alone. But I think that there are definitely some AI versions of these trailers floating around there, which is it used to just be when a trailer leaked, you knew it was a trailer. Now it's like you have to guess if is it AI. But I mean, I think that from what I'm seeing, it looks like they're real. Again, it's pretty telling when it's like AI. You can kind of tell there's like hall signs of it. I did see, I think for one of the Avengers Doomsday trailer, they did do someone did an AI upscaled version of the leak, which changes a little bit, but it's very close to the one that I've seen and also have because I saved it. But so I think that they're all real. I think that these ones they look. I don't know if they were released on purpose. That's always a possibility, but I think that from what we're seeing, I don't have any reason to think that they're not real. The
cinematography, like, I don't know how to describe certain things. It's more of a feeling. Maybe it's just because I'm an artist, but like, there are certain things I look at and I feel like a real movie wouldn't move the camera like this, or a real movie wouldn't do certain things. So I don't have a name for it, but I usually, that's just my eye. I see things. Yeah, I think I've been looking at a lot of links that get cut right away. Like somebody named like Daniel RPK or somebody was posting like leaks and talking about this stuff. And then I'd go to click on the link and it's been removed for copyright reasons. And I went, oh, okay, we're going down this rabbit hole. That's why we have so many people watching right now too, because this is a hot topic that I'm actually having a good time talking about. Because normally it's like Marvel doom and gloom because it's just kind of boring and apathetic, or I feel apathetic. But this is something to at least discuss in a fun way. So I'm kind of glad these leaks happened. At least it brings us a nice, fun conversation. Script Andrew, do you have any counterpoints to if you think it's real? If not, we can talk about some other stuff.
I think it's real. I'll also say it is entirely possible that these leaks are done strictly for marketing purposes and to like get discussion happening around the film. Right? So people start talking about it because like, oh, it leaked, right? Somebody tells you, oh, a new trailer's coming out. Okay, cool. I'll catch it whenever. Something leaked, right? People aren't supposed to be able to see this yet, right? It's like the forbidden fruit, right? So all of a sudden there's a little bit more of a sense of urgency because along with something being a leak comes that's going to get taken down like probably right away. So I got to check it out, right? And then people are talking about it. And people are talking to their friends about it and their family about it. And I think that it is highly likely that is the case with this, because Marvel needs people actually talking about their movies. And I mean actual people, not just like 16 YouTubers talking about their movies. I mean like regular people, right? It's one thing for us here on YouTube to be talking about their stuff and whether we like it or whether we hate it. It's another thing for the general populace to now be talking about their stuff again, because it's been a while since that's actually been the case.
It's weird too, because I mean, look, we'll benefit from it. The more people that are thinking about Marvel, we kind of lived through the dead period, and we're all fans of this stuff, not just movies that are popular. Like, we sit and go on about artists and inkers and writers and weird details. So from that geek standpoint, I'm excited for this stuff to come back, but it does have to meet a certain level of quality. I'm not looking for complaints or nitpicks, but I do have to be entertained. And that's really all I'm hoping for with a lot of this stuff, because it's not been the most entertaining period to be a comic book fan, at least of the movies.
Yeah.
Anything else you guys want to say about the Spider-Man trailer? Sorry, the wheel on this chair keeps coming off. I repaired it, but I guess not good enough. So give me a second. Anything else you guys want to say in regard to this trailer?
I mean, if this is a calculated leak, it's at least a good start to generate some interest into the Spider-Man film, because I think, does this one come between Doomsday and the next one, or does this come after the Avengers trilogy? I'm not 100% sure.
This is before. This movie comes out next year, and I think it comes out before the next Avengers film. I think
so this one comes before Doomsday. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's kind of weird that they're starting to release the trailers for Doomsday during the Avatar film, but they're not going to release a trailer for Spider-Man until February officially. That's weird. That's weird marketing. I mean, and I guess this is what they're doing with the leaks, because right now we're in that period of, hey, we're trying to gain a whole bunch of momentum for the summer box office, because there's this huge divide right now in the entertainment industry where a big half of them are saying, yeah, streaming has blown up the market to the point where not as many people are going to go to the theaters because it's just too difficult on their wallets. So we have to readjust our budgets, our marketing, and we can only guarantee that X amount of people are going to show up. We're not going to be having those multiple billion-dollar hits a year as the industry used to have. And that's a hard thing for the rest to accept, because a lot of them got their jobs or got their positions by saying, we know the math of how to make sure we can secure $1 billion at the box office each year. And the thing is, they never equated to the fact that, oh, ticket prices are a little bit too high. The economy is horrible.
It's awful. Yeah. People don't have the expendable income that they used to.
Yeah.
They haven't for a while.
No, the disposable income is what makes everything great, because you get to express it in the art and culture of society. And if you don't have that, then all it's going to is your basic bills and food.
Pretty much that. I'd like to see, obviously that's incumbent upon the freaking economy to actually allow people to get back to that kind of a place. But it also, people could all of a sudden have more disposable income again. But if the entertainment that's on offer isn't good again, they're going to find something else, some other avenue to put that disposable income towards. Either that, or if they're smart, they'll be like, man, it's been a little rough the last few years. Maybe I'm gonna put this money away in case it goes down the crapper again.
Look, I don't care how bad it gets for me personally, like the economy. I will always check out a movie. That's the one thing that I look at it like this. Yes, bills are important and food and all this stuff, but like, I don't know. I'm a movie guy. That's important to me. And I will always go support them if they're good. I can skip something if it looks like crap, or like I don't get into Avatar. I know that movie's going to make $10 trillion on the 19th, and everybody's going to be, oh, did you see it? It was so great. It looks like the last one, which looks like the one before that, which looks not interesting to me. But I'm hoping, like I was listening, I hope people do come out to support Spider-Man. I think they will come out to support Spider-Man more than they will the Avengers. Spider-Man to me is like a recession-proof, guaranteed lock superhero. Even the Andrew Garfield ones that might not be as looked at fondly as looked at as fondly, still are making $700, $800 million. Like, Spidey, he appeals to everybody. I mean, hell, he's on this coffee mug. He's everywhere in the world. I don't see the Avengers as represented as they used to be. So I hope that, my optimism is reflected on the screen and the results of the movie are good. Because at the end of the day, I just want to see more Spidey. I don't care.
I hope it's good.
What's going on. So let's see what the audience is saying, and then we'll talk about our next leak. All right. Both from Shrubbles 08, what is up? He says, the word of the day is Krampus. Debbie dubs Krampus. I don't think Krampus would take that. The Krampus job. Krampus is coming to town.
That is probably a little horny.
Well, have you seen him? He's got giant horns on his head. And meet Krampus in St. Louis. I'm glad you didn't say meet me in Krampus, because that's a story.
Nope.
Yeah. have you guys all seen the movie Krampus?
Yep. I've seen a few Krampus films.
Nope.
They get the legend wrong, because he's not enemies of Santa. He just punishes people that are on Santa's naughties list.
I loved the just the big main line Krampus, the one with Adam Scott and Toni Collette and all those people. That's a regular watch for me every year.
What was the one that came out in like 2015? It was in the 2010s. There was one that came out in the 2010s. Yeah, that was the one that I saw. Okay.
Yeah, because
I don't remember any of the actors. Yeah.
It was full.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, dude. Like I said, I watch it every year, and I'm glad you brought up Krampus. If you haven't seen Violent Night, folks, Violent Night was a good movie that the official marketing department used us. So there's a Violent Night trailer that has all of our stuff talking about it officially released. I have to look in the archives and re-release it. But WCBS was very pro Violent Night, so shout out to that movie. But let's see. Krampus titles. How about Krampus Forever?
Krampus Begins. There you go.
I'm sensing a trend, and I like it.
Krampus is coming to town. Oh, that one's already there. I'm
That's okay.
retarded.
Krampus Rises.
Krampus all the way.
The Dark Krampus. That could be many different things.
Krampus Legacy.
There you go.
Krampus Aries.
Krampus on a plane.
Bridge on the River Krampus.
Dude, where's my Krampus?
In Like Krampus.
Ooh, I like that one. James Coburn can come back from the grave for it.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. One more each. Krampus. Let's see. Did we do Krampus on a plane? Yes, we did. How about Krampus?
Krampus the Lost Empire.
There you go. Krampus Fire and Ash.
Planet of the Krampus.
Big Krampus and Little China.
Yeah. You want to make Planet of the Krampus script? I feel like we could with AI, we could really make like some serious bank on that.
You maniacs.
You blew it up. Damn you. Dude, that Charlton Heston is so fun. Like, I like a lot of the other Matt Reeves. Who directed the newer ones?
Oh yeah, Matt Reeves did direct the newer ones. Yeah,
I like those movies, but there's something about Charlton Heston. You cut out his brain, and you damn dirty ape, and he's like just screaming and chewing up the scenery. That he's the best.
It's crazy because he's one of the greatest actors of the 20th century, and on top of that, he's also one of the only actors of that time at his caliber that liked to do science fiction. Because nobody really got it. It's like, oh man, you have a guy like Charlton Heston who knows how to steal every scene he's in, but also knows how to lift up the scene partners he's with. And he's doing Omega Man. He's doing Soylent Green. He's doing Planet of the Apes. You're like, why is he doing these science fiction films that were considered like low-level B movies? Because he loved what they were.
And I love that he did them. Soylent Green is great. If you haven't seen that, folks, I'll never spoil the twist for you. I mean, it's like a 50-year-old movie at this point, but go watch it. It's great. Let's see. We have Krampus's Day Out. I hated Baby's Day Out. That was such a bad movie. I was like 6 when it came out. Didn't like it then. Maybe it was 5. Anyway, I digress. We have Krampus 007, Law-Abiding Krampus. That's my favorite so far.
That's a good one.
Krampus Gump, Terminator Krampus Day, Krampus Gets a Cramp. Oh, it's that age. Krampus and Wolverine, The Krampus Who Loved Me. Oh, here's my new favorite one. Oh, Krampus, Where Art Thou?
Oh, good one.
Krampus Saves Christmas.
Now he destroys.
Fred Krampus. There you go.
It has to be better than
Christmas with the
Fred
Krampus.
Claus. Weekend with Krampus. I would watch that as a dead Krampus is like propped up.
If people
World
realize that they're not able to get punished on the naughty list, I think all of Christmas will be ruined.
We have to do something to save Christmas. Balance must be restored. Oh, or like Krampus Vacation, Lethal Krampus. Folks, keep sending in your Krampus titles all night long. Our friend Shrebbles08 has a button request, and we'll start talking about the Avengers trailer leak, the bigger one, I think, because the Avengers have a lot more on the line, a lot more variables, a lot more factors that can determine if this movie will be a big hit. Spider-Man's a sure thing. Every single time it works, financially speaking. But the Avengers, too many different things. So let me get these buttons pulled up for our friend Shrebbles08. Where'd everybody go? There's everybody. Sorry, guys. But here is your first button right. Where's Die Hard? I can't read right now. You know what you get first? You get Buffalo Jeff. Sorry if you're squeamish, folks.
Who's that Pokemon? It's
me, your old pal Buffalo Jeff.
Shock.
You're a bad person.
The worst. Let me cleanse the palate.
Glass? Who gives a shit about Glass? Who the fuck is this?
This is Deputy Chief of Police Dwayne T. Robinson, and I am in charge of this situation.
Oh, you're in charge. Well, I got some bad news for you, Dwayne. I'm not the one who just got butt fucked on national TV, Dwayne.
Oh, that Argyle. So I have to watch Die Hard. It's December 16th, and I haven't watched it yet. I also haven't heard Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You, so this is a very good year for me.
Wow.
Yeah. I actually
All right.
stood at the grocery store. I was like, I haven't heard that song yet this year. And then I looked up. And
Right, you're just
completely different.
waiting for it to happen.
I was tempting fate. Dark Fate, if you will.
Ooh.
So let me, better than Terminator Dark Fate. That movie was not good. We reviewed it once, and once was enough. But here we are on screen, the Avengers Doomsday. Now, folks, the last 6 years will be at this May, The last 6 years have been a very weird place for comic book movies. As we said in the beginning, we all love this stuff. We love to talk about it, geek out about it. It was part of the popular culture, but it came to a natural conclusion with Avengers Endgame in 2019. After that, it felt like movies were chasing its tail. They were just going around in a circle. Nothing really was accomplished. The bigger picture was never fully fleshed out. You sit through in a movie like The Eternals, you're getting Black Knight and Blade, but now you're not getting Black Knight and Blade. You sat through Shang-Chi. You sat through this. You sat through that. Nothing really amounted to anything. They used to be able to sell you on, oh man, I can't wait till all these heroes get together. Now it's, well, maybe we can sell you a movie to tell you how that giant celestial statue standing out of the earth got there, or what they do with it. Like little nitpicky things they think the audience actually cares about. But Marvel does know what the audience cares about. That's why they brought back Robert Downey Jr. That's why Chris Evans signed up to come back this past week. That's why we have Thor and all these big Avengers that are going to be the focal point. Because Marvel, I believe, even though they won't admit it, has learned their lesson that B-list characters don't move the needle. All they do is drain resources. And now they need for things to just stop sucking up resources, and they need stuff to bring in the money, bring in the fans, secure the future. So this was the first trailer leak I saw earlier today, this Captain America Avengers trailer leak. And, well, this is how we actually got the Master on the show today, because I posted about it, asked people what they thought, and he commented. So since we did it that way, let's do it again. Let's talk about this leak, Master. It's basically just Captain America holding his baby, picking up the suit, and riding his motorcycle. But what did you think about this, and how early did you know about this leak?
I knew about it last night, actually. I saw that it had come out, and I saw it, and I was kind of like, whatever. I will say the one thing that I guess was kind of interesting was the ending with they have right after it says like, it says Steve Rogers will return. It then has like a countdown clock with like 11 months, and it just starts counting down for some strange reason. I mean, I know that they're obviously doing that for a reason, but that was interesting. Otherwise, I didn't really care. I just was like, okay, cool.
let me pull that up real quick. I have a picture of that for the chat so they understand what we're talking about. Because, folks, some of this stuff keeps getting pulled down, which adds a lot of believability to the leaks. There you go, right there. There's the Avengers clock. 19 weeks, 29 days, 23 hours, 59 minutes, 57 seconds. So if this is a leak, this clock actually means nothing to us yet because it's supposed to count down from the official release. So, but it is interesting. I think a lot of stuff is going to hinge on the old school, but they spent so much time trying to build out the Kangs and trying to do this and trying to do that. I personally need to see something really big to get me pumped. But Script and Andrew, if you saw the leak, what did you think of it? And we'll start talking about the next point.
You know, I'll be honest. I'm not enthused for this film, but Chris Evans was basically a perfect Steve Rogers, and the prospect of seeing him back in that role is, enticing to a degree. And so I'm hoping that it's not just a little tease, right? Dangling the carrot and saying, hey, you remember Captain America, right? It's like, yeah, I remember Captain America back when he was cool, right? In the movies that he did, leading up to Endgame. So if they actually are, because I've been hearing and reading that it seems like he's going to be very prominent. He's going to be leading the Avengers in this. If that's the case, okay, that's interesting. You've got my interest, but I'm not going to hold my breath as to whether or not this movie's going to actually be a banger. We'll see. If they are smart enough to actually look and say, okay, yeah, we tried the B team, we tried the C team, nobody cared and fewer people watched, right? So let's bring back the A-listers. Let's bring back the heavy hitters, the Captain Americas. Let's bring back Tony. Let's bring back Thor and not have him be a complete freaking joke. Let's bring back the characters that got people excited to begin with in our first 3 phases. Make them prominent. Do cool, fun stuff with them. Respect the legacy that we built, over the course of a decade in how we handled them. If they do that, word of mouth will spread, right? I can already see it now. Marvel's back, the MCU's back, right? And the movie will perform very well, but they have to hit those notes. They need more than just a leaked trailer that brings back a character that everybody loves, sure, but the movie itself still has to be good. It's got to be more than just a kind of a nothing burger of a teaser. Because to your point, it's just him with his baby on a motorcycle. It's like, okay, so like the most exciting thing about that is just the fact that it's Steve again, right? The teaser itself is like nothing. So I don't know. We'll see.
No, you made the point. I just want to make is like, I'm not interested in the baby aspect. I don't want to sound cold, but what I don't want from Marvel movies in general is this sense of I have to return and stop being the hero. I think these movies always work best when the heroes have just accepted their role and we have, as fans, we can imagine them going and doing anything because it keeps them going alive in our mind. If you're like, well, he has to return to his baby or Iron Man has to die, it's just like, okay, then why am I getting excited for this one-off event? If you're trying to build a damn thing that's going to continually move forever, you need these characters where it's like Captain America will return. Cool, what's he going to do in the next movie? Because like it's never going to work that it's like, oh, sure, he's coming back. Who cares? Who really cares? But Script, you're a movie guy, the movie guy to some people. What did you think of this minute-long trailer leak?
Well, it's who parks their bike in the middle of the street? Just pull it up to the curb. Put it in the
You
driveway.
haven't spent enough time in America, have you? It just happens everywhere.
Well, I mean, the places that I have. I mean, listen, anytime you park your motorcycle in the middle of the street and leave it there, someone is going to grab it right away and take off with it. That's just the case. I mean, granted, probably not in 1955, where it most likely looks that this is where the time period that Steve Rogers is in. The trailer's trying to give personal stakes to Steve Rogers that whatever Dr. Doom is doing, whatever this thing, it's going to either take him away or compromise the family that he's always wanted. I know a lot of people didn't like the idea of Steve Rogers, handing off his shield as an old man, not coming back to be a hero. But part of the hero's story is that you give them a reward for their efforts, and being able to actually settle down with Peggy Carter is one heck of a great reward, and raise a family. And then the other part too, and Marvel didn't do the best job of effectively conveying this, but they have implied that Captain America was still operating in the past, where he fought, the Red Guardian as a slightly older man. He was doing covert operations for S.H.I.E.L.D. For that time. So he never really gave up being a hero. He just wasn't in the public space anymore. I remember people saying, oh man, he replaced the father of the two kids that Peggy Carter has. Like, no, you idiot. He was the father. That was the payoff of what they were doing here. They're doing a time loop part. At this point, it's like, yeah, maybe it could be good, but it doesn't have the writing team. It only has it only has Stephen McFeely, Christopher Marcus, who him and McFeely wrote the best Marvel movies that we saw, aside from like the Guardians of the Galaxy films. They're not working together on this, so you only have one half of your creative writing team. And sadly, you got the Russo brothers, who I know they're fans in the MCU, but they're TV directors pretending to be filmmakers. Like when you take a look at their MCU films versus the stuff that Joe Johnston did with Captain America, that Jon Favreau did with Iron Man, that Branagh did with Thor, those look like movies because you have wide shots, you have choreography, you've got blocking and scene blocking. In the Russo stuff, you have quick shots, you have people standing completely still, or you have a scene that's locked off where they're not moving. So if there's a driving scene, they're sitting next to each other driving. If they're on an escalator, it's framed perfectly with them, and then you can't even tell that the background is moving. It's all close-up shots. Their fight scenes are so cobbled together with quick shots that you actually don't get a sense of like really impressive choreography like you would see in a Bruce Lee or Jackie Chan or Jet Li movie, which you would get in other superhero films. Like take a look at Batman 89's fight scene in the alley when Batman beats up those guys and then fights the dude with the swords. I mean, Tim Burton did not have a whole lot of experience directing at that point, but that is a way more intense combat scene than anything you get in Captain America and the Winter Soldier. I'm sorry, it is, because you're not quickly cutting to each individual action to create an illusion of momentum, like you're copying like what Christopher Nolan did as in Batman Begins. The only reason he did that is he didn't have enough time to do the choreography and rehearse it, so they had to go in sections and sections to make their day. That's why it's so horribly cut, and that's why when he did the Dark Knight, he tried to pull it back a bit, but he also didn't like, shooting fight scenes. He left that mostly to his second and third units to do, which is also why they're kind of lousy in that series. So yeah, I'm not looking forward to Doomsday. They just haven't given me anything of interest to see. Like, Robert Downey Jr. coming back as Dr. Doom, interesting, but if you know your comic history, there's a couple of stories where Dr. Doom has mind swapped with Tony Stark, and I would not be surprised if they did it that way, because Disney's cash cow of Marvel hasn't been one since 2019, really. And what's missing from that? Well, it's missing your core three. Well, Chris Hemsworth hasn't left, but the people that have been guiding
haven't given him anything good.
People that have been guiding him in his movies have definitely not been had their finger on the pulse. But you had Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. wanting to go off doing other things. They've gotten that out of their system, and now they need money because they have high expenses. And Chris Evans is the new dad, so he wants to have a nice nest egg for his kids. So I don't blame him for that. So they're coming back to the things that keep them. Again, they pay their bills, but more importantly, high reputation in Hollywood, which means that after Doomsday is done, Robert Downey Jr. with a couple of his passion projects that he's got on the docket at Team Downey, those are going to get funded because he brings people to the because people think he brings people to the theaters, but in actuality, it's the character he plays that brings them to the theaters. So,
yeah, because like Due Date, that came out post Iron Man 1. I know it's like roughly the same summer, but that didn't move the needle. The Sherlock Holmes started. Did the first one do better than the second one? Because it was like a big deal.
Guy Ritchie one?
Yeah.
I don't remember. I know it was more popular than the second one. Or sorry, the second one was more popular than the first one. I don't know if that actually translated to numbers. I think that came after the fact.
But I don't disagree with your assessment, because a lot of the biggest Robert Downey Jr. films, like Oppenheimer, he just plays an important role, but he's not the focal point of that film.
Right.
He's not even like, where would you rank his character's importance? Because it's obviously Cillian Murphy, and then hell, I guess
Emily
Matt
Blunt
Damon has
too.
more
They
to do
keep
with it.
trying to make a thing, and it's just not working, especially after her breast implants.
I can't ever
Man.
look at Florence Pugh again because of you, by the way. I saw her on something and I went, oh, somewhere script doctor is so disappointed in her.
Well, I mean, she has no neck, and she has probably, I mean, I feel very sorry for her because she has very, very sad breasts.
I just wanted you to say it, not me.
Man, we were waiting for it.
Like they make babies cry because they're like, I'm not going to get any food from that, am I? Someone already beat me to it.
Milk's gone bad, Charlie Murphy. Anyway,
Chingada.
As appropriate as it is to talk about that.
I mean, they're on a channel called World Class BS, man. Believe me, it's
Yeah.
always appropriate to talk about that. Folks, if you want more, you can follow Script Doctor on Twitter. We'll do a whole show about disappointing boobs in cinema. There we go, man. We'll make it for members only.
Oh yeah, that I would love that.
You got to at least end it on a happy note, though.
Fine.
Well, I
Sydney
mean-
Sweeney, she's beautiful.
Yeah, Sydney Sweeney's, well, first of all, she's beautiful. She's also pretty relatable. Like that's a great part to her.
Isn't she fairly smart too? Like, it's not just,
Well,
she's
she's
good-looking?
business savvy in entertainment. I mean, like not many women her age try to direct their career so that they are behind the camera and still working afterwards, after their their beauty kind of fades away, or some people think it fades away. I find a lot of women actually get way better with age. I mean, Haley Atwell is a perfect example of that. That's not only a classy actress, but someone who should be in a lot more stuff and a lot more front and center, but isn't.
Bryce Dallas Howard, too.
Bryce Dallas
I would
Howard.
say.
Well, she was smart. Well, she's very smart because she has a very smart dad. Because Ron Howard was like, "Yeah, honey, you're gorgeous, but if you want to work in this industry, you got to do something else than just be an actor." And so she got into directing and production, and she is a phenomenal director.
She's a really good director.
I met a few people that have worked with her, and they said she knows everything that she needs to know for her project. Like she does the work, and you just can't help but respect that, because I've met a number of directors that they'll come in with like a couple of pages for their shot list for the day. And it's like, really only 2 pages for your shot list? It may be a quarter of a page, but you really need to have a lot more detail than just medium close. It's just like, what's your notes for the actors? Oh, I don't have any. So why are you here?
In discussing work, do you think Marvel's doing their work on this film? Because it's like the Jonathan Majors stuff changed the whole direction of Kang and everything that we're getting, and now we're getting Doomsday, and then it's Secret War. Do you think they're actually doing the work, or do you think they're just sitting there going, how can we get the most characters on screen, which means we get the most people in theaters? Is it something as basic as that?
Might be. I mean, one of the things that I'm constantly like curious about is why, like they when Alan Horn fired James Gunn, their entire plans went off the rails because they were going cosmic. They were not planning on Kang or any of that level. They were going. I mean, the rumor is that they're just going to go more into the cosmic aspect of the MCU, and instead they had to bridge magic with multiverse and everything else. And that was going to be their next big section. So they brought that, which was still in development, up to the 4A. And probably one of the reasons why they weren't able to do the cosmic stuff that they had planned is because you'd have to pay out Gunn for his contributions for that after he was terminated. So, it's like, oh, great, we just fired a guy. Now we're going to use a bunch of his ideas or a bunch of his stories, which he's still going to get credit for as we refine these and assign them to various writers and cast. Oh, yeah, no, so we're not, we can't do that, because that's why they had the Celestial and the Eternals. Like, they're going to go whatever that route is. And now they've kind of revamped it to the whole. We're now going to be able to find a way to bridge this into X-Men. It's a big mess, creatively speaking. And the thing is, it's not going to change too much. They're going to push it forward because this is the longest running consistent film franchise in the world. Like, and then one of the only thing it has above something like James Bond is it has more entries into it than James Bond, because these are not like, Iron Man movies, Captain America movies, Thor movies, etc. They are Marvel movies. That is their brand now. Their franchise is the big umbrella here. So yeah, they're going to push it forward. It's going to be messy. I will say this: it is kind of following the same peak and valley pattern of success that the comic books industries have every so many decades, where you have a few years of amazing stories, sales are up, and then they try something else, and people are like, nope, not doing this, and then they find a way to sort of retcon or hedge their bets or reincorporate bad story beats to have them give a payoff to a better story beat to try and keep it all consistent. So when you buy, the collector's trade edition of it or the omnibus, you've got all the horrible issues that nobody cared about, but you have these the tail end issues that say, oh, this is the new perspective of those bad issues to give it more context so that they feel like better stories than what they actually were at the time. And it feels like Marvel's doing the same thing with their film franchise, which is something a lot of us were terrified would eventually happen. It's like, yeah, you keep pushing through this, you keep running through your best legacy stories that you have so quickly, like going through Infinity Gauntlet as like your first major thing when there's so many other, well, not too
They were
many
in a
others, but there's a
rush.
number of others, like a good 4 or 5 other options they could have done here to sort of better pace it out. But at the same time,
Ultron alone should have been more than just one movie, and I unapologetically love that movie. I know most people don't, and I'm the black sheep there, and that's okay.
Do they really? I thought it was completely fine. I've never really heard people dump on Age of Ultron.
Almost, with the exception of like a couple of my friends, almost everybody else that I've spoken with about it hates that film, and that's whatever, right?
Well, they hate it because it's a one and done. Like that's the thing. Like you take Ultron, who is a consistent threat.
That's my big criticism, right?
Yeah.
Where like Ultron alone could be, before we get to Thanos, like he's your big bad. You can easily stretch him out and do it well and make it believable for him to be the big bad for more than just a single film.
I mean, it would be better if you did, because Disney got very terrified about racial persecution for going with an authentic Mandarin. But you should. I mean, ideally, it would have been better to do Mandarin. Once that story arc is done, do Ultron. Once that story arc is done, bring in Galactus. Once that story arc is done, then you do your Infinity War. And you could have each of those big arcs have crossovers with the Infinity Stones, just to kind of tease it a long enough way. But also, to the point of how Hollywood works, sometimes you are not guaranteed a follow-up movie. Although Disney, once they got their hands on it, they're like, yeah, we're doing this every other year. Or we're doing 3 a year, no matter what. And it's like, well, if you're doing 3 a year no matter what, that's where you're like, okay, well, how can we make sure we highlight the best stories from the books that we're adapting into this series so that we can really milk our audience for every cent that we can get out of them, while also giving them something that hits properly on the nostalgia, has a nice cinematic flair and style and narrative that is distinct to the Marvel films, and maintains their revenue stream. They rush through things too much. I mean, one of the things I kind of piques my curiosity with the DCU is that the adaptations are going to be random for what they're doing of the various comics that they have at their disposal. They're going to have original stories. They're going to have a couple of adaptations here. I'm curious about that because it allows us to follow the direction as opposed to predict the outcome. Because when we're dealing with something like Doomsday, which looks to be the Secret Wars type of deal, a lot of people kind of already know most of the outcomes and context to it. So you're going to have your insiders that are not going to be too impressed, so they're looking to see what matches, how they make it different, and then you got your normies, which are either going to be incredibly impressed or very disappointed if the outcome is matching the same quality we've had for the last 6 years of Marvel films.
Yeah, I'm glad you made the point, though, about how they adapted the biggest stuff so quick and they're kind of tapped out. I mean, there are a lot of great comic books in general that deal with, I won't say micro issues, but there are so many great books that I've read that take place over a small window of time that can be adapted. And then basically they could put them into they could do 5 of those stories into one film. I mean, you look at some of the, like Spider-Man 2 is essentially just Spider-Man number 50. But the first film's 10 different stories rolled into one narrative. I like that because I think each movie, with the amount of source material, each movie should be representative of the character of a different era or just representative of a really important story arc. Again, with the Raimi stuff, it pulls from Web of Spider-Man 1 all the way through Spider-Man 300 and a little more on, depending on how you look at the Venom stuff. Oh, later, because Venom and Sandman eventually fought. I think Venom bites Sandman and kills him. Long story short, they jumped the gun on a lot of stuff, and they're going to have to do something to really like kick this off and restart it. And I don't think stunt casting or alternate realities are going to get people to like make this appointment film going, where it's like, yeah, the world's expensive, but man, I'll drop $40 to go take my girlfriend or whatever to go see Iron or the Avengers. Like, they have to really earn this one. More so than I think anyone they've had to earn in 6 years. Because like I said a moment ago, Spider-Man's a sure thing, but their ego, it's like, oh, Captain Marvel's $1 billion picture. Shut up. It's going to make more money. Again, lost like 240. Even stuff that's non-Marvel from Disney isn't guaranteed. Indiana Jones lost a bunch of money, and that's an institution. This is a very exciting time for us as fans, though, because this is the time where they need to win you back, and they're going to do a lot of stuff to make sure that you're excited and this looks attractive to you. And as a fan, I think we're going to win. Now, I don't think it'll be bereft of some stupid things that'll probably make us roll our eyes, characters we hate, modern comic book tropes that they got to put in because somebody's friends with somebody at Marvel and they want to get their royalty check because they, got the right viewpoints on shit. That's going to happen. We know it. We have to live through that, and it stinks. Not making excuses, but I'm hoping, as an optimistic fan tonight, the magic of Christmas is flowing through the air. I'm hoping that we get some good stuff. And while we've been talking, I actually have a little more information on other leaks. Master, I'm sure you've heard about these ones, though, the audio leaks.
Yes.
So, folks, for those who don't know, because I'm not going to really share stuff in case this is legit, and I really don't want to get a copy strike. It's just not how I want to spend my holidays trying to fight with a computer.
They're actually getting copyright claimed. I've seen a couple of them already, so I would assume that they probably would hit you.
So we're not going to show anything, but I will tell you what I'm reading, because that's a little different. So first trailer is the Steve Rogers one that leaked, and I've seen it. We've all seen it here on the panel. It's out there. The second centers on Thor. Those specific details are unclear. It's a dedicated spot that implies he has a significant role. Then there's the third, which highlights Victor Von Doom, positioned last to maximize hype with no further plot specifics mentioned. And then a fourth trailer is described as the actual trailer, potentially to generate a teaser without a singular character focus. So there's also rumored audio, and I won't go into the detail because it's kind of boring, but basically it includes an ominous, slow dialogue with subtle glimmers of hope, musical notes similar to Venom's second trailer. Then it intensifies, and you get a club-like vibe akin to the Thunderbolts, which shifts to a fast-paced montage and culminates with the Avengers music. So that's kind of like basic stuff. All trailers are very similar to me, but let's just go with this information as fact for a minute. So it's Cap, Thor, and Victor Von Doom. I do think that's a very strong lineup, but I also have lived through Thor Love and Thunder, which is maybe the worst MCU movie.
It's the worst one I've seen.
Yeah, dude, it's absolute dog crap. Like, you talk about stuff. I talk about stuff here on the channel constantly. I will never watch this again. I will never waste my time. Thor Love and Thunder is the epitome of movie Jeff will never watch. Not on an airplane, not on an island. I do not like it, Disney. I do not like it. So,
has anyone here seen Ironheart?
I watched part of it and gave up. Oh, man, did you watch it?
It was so bad. Oh my God.
So I hated everything about it, but I felt compelled to keep looking at it just in case there was something that we could talk about here on the channel. And I gave up maybe 4 episodes. And after they went to that laboratory on the river in Chicago when she broke in and the guy ended up getting killed for the lack of oxygen. Did you finish the show? Does it get any better, or is it just completely
No, it doesn't. And they bring back we get to see a villain kind of from the first Iron Man movie, but then we also get to see his son, and they made him terrible too. And it was it was just bad. Like there was not a single redeeming quality in the show as far as I could see. And I'll be honest, I almost think the comic origin for her was better than whatever we got in this.
I mean, you didn't like
That's not
the
saying
girl
much.
who's whatever the AI imprinted on her brain, and she's having hallucinations and talking to an AI in a garage as she's feeling guilty about her uncle getting shot. Come on, man, that's like
Can
peak cinema.
I say spoilers? Does anybody care?
No.
It's this channel. We don't care.
So for spoilers for anybody listening, we also get Sacha Baron Cohen as Mephisto, who appears at the end, and we only get to see his stupid reflection in a spoon. They don't even show him as Mephisto. We get to see a red reflection of him in a spoon. That's what we get.
Yeah.
And
That
then
doesn't
at the
get you
end,
guys
wait,
excited?
at the end, Riri gets magic. And then at the end, if you look closely, you could see that her suit's on the side there. And it has the Hood's cloak on it. So she gets to have the Iron Man suit that she stole the plans from, and then stole from her dad's car to make, which she did, destroy her dad's car to make it. And then has the cloak, and then also has magic, and now works for the devil. And then it ends there.
So she's got more than just plot armor. She's got literal armor and magic. Like she's
No,
like
but
an
you
overpowered
misunderstand.
character.
She works for Satan now.
Yeah, she sold her soul so that her friend could come back alive.
Yeah,
it's
because she
so
and then
dumb.
but by the way, her father who also died, we'll just leave him dead. Who cares about him?
Yeah.
It was the whole thing. It was like her friend and her father died. And it's like, I have the opportunity to bring my friend back. I think I'll bring my friend back and I'll just leave my father dead. Screw my mother. Who cares about me? I don't care. Woohoo. It's like, what?
You know, that you talked about caring. It's hard to care about characters who do crap like that, man. You know, when I talk about liking a character like Spider-Man, I don't just like him because he looks cool and has a nice, a cool costume. It's, oh, he actually handles himself like a real person would and has to do the hard things. And sometimes these books just end with him walking away alone or sad, or his girlfriend dies, or his aunt's dead, or something that we could all relate to. He doesn't just go, hey, it's all fixed by the end of the series. You know, he's got to live with that. I think when you take away that or do that kind of stuff with characters, they just become useless. Like there's no weight to them. There's nothing that like, oh man, I got to watch him suffer. Nah, I know. I'm sure she'll get some kind of comeuppance in a season that'll never get released and will be told by somebody on Twitter how great it was, but the fans didn't support it and it's our fault. Like, I'm
but
glad I didn't finish.
Also, the thing that bugged me the most was the disrespect to the character of Ezekiel Stane, which was Obadiah Stane's son. In the comics, he is a completely mentally disturbed person. Like he makes Tony's life hell. In the show, he's, oh, please don't hurt me. I don't want to be hurt. And then suddenly he's now crazy. And then he makes a joke about his dad's ashes. We get to see Obadiah Stane's ashes. And they go, why is it in a plastic bag? And he goes, we weren't close. And then they knock it over and they spill it on the floor. You know, the villain from the first movie that launched the entire MCU? Well, we just don't care. Make a joke. Haha, we're not close. We'll vacuum up these ashes from the floor. Funny. Ha. Why aren't you laughing?
I did actually see that episode, and I forgot Alden Ehrenreich existed as an actor.
Why aren't you laughing? This is peak Marvel humor. You should all be laughing in hysterics.
I haven't heard a good Marvel joke in 6 years. I don't think I've watched every movie and most shows. I never laughed like unironically. Like, this is terrible.
No, I laughed. I genuinely laughed a few times in Thunderbolts.
Okay, I keep forgetting Thunderbolts exists. I'm sorry. That movie just doesn't feel like a normal Marvel movie. It's not the best thing I've ever seen, but I'm
Just
like,
compared to the last several years, it was actually good, but almost nobody went and saw it.
I saw it twice, and I wasn't trying to right any wrong. It was my buddy's like, hey, I haven't seen it. I'm like, I'll go back and watch it with you, and then we'll go get, we'll eat lunch or something. So
Get some pizza and beer.
Yeah, it was a double feature. I went and saw that and Sinners back to back. Sinners was, I guess, better, but I have issues with that movie. I digress. My point is, though, Master, I'm glad you brought up that show. It all goes, this type of stuff, folks, isn't pedantic complaints. It's valid concerns. If you're going to waste, let me be polite and positive. You're going to spend the one resource that you can never get back, your life, your time, you got to spend it watching something good, or if you're watching something bad. Like, I love movies that are ironically bad, like The Room. But I have a great time watching it. I don't enjoy beating my head against the wall watching Secret Invasion. Like, that show was psychological torture in some countries. That's why it's not released everywhere in the world, because that show is just so difficult to sit through. And then, like, Agent Maria Hill, oh, she just dies in a randomness, whatever character people kind of like. We could just keep bringing back the fun ones. No, we gotta kill her off. We gotta do this. We gotta do that.
They wasted her. I mean,
Yes.
They wasted her for the entirety of the MCU.
I was going to say, they did almost nothing with her in the MCU, which actually kind of ticked me off.
Yeah, you have Colby Smulders, who is a very popular actor who wanted to be a part of this. And one of the reasons why, Joss Whedon did do some pretty nasty stuff trying to get with her, as he does with a lot of actors. But that doesn't mean that you couldn't use her in more stories just because, you got rid of the one director that was abusing his power.
Mm-hmm.
I've never really been a Joss Whedon fan. The few movies that he's done that I've liked, or things that he's done, I like the first Avengers and part of the second one, and that's about it. Because
love Firefly.
Good show, just not my cup of tea, man. I'd rather watch Star Trek or something else. And I like Nathan Fillion, but I like him in other roles. I think the only reason I don't like Firefly as much is the music really grates me. Like, I can't stand the music of that show, and so it's kind of hard to watch it. But other than that, it's cool. I like it, though. Like, the people are great. I met the artist from that show. He was cool as hell. He told me all the great stories about the Nathan Fillion. So, folks, if you ever want to meet that guy, he's always at Star Wars Celebration. I'll get his name and tweet it out later. But back to the Avengers. So if we're going in with all of this concern, do you think Marvel actually has it in them to pull out a nonstop banger of a movie where we're all blown away? Or do you think they wait and make that nonstop banger that blows you away Secret Wars? And they just kind of use this to just, build that one up and make that the main event?
I think we're going to get Cameo the movie. I think that they learned the wrong lesson from Spider-Man No Way Home and Deadpool and Wolverine, and they're just we're going to get the movie of cameos. It's going to be, you'll like this movie even if it's not that great, if we just bring in characters that you like. To be fair, Deadpool and Wolverine did do pretty well, but like the plot was very minimal. Well, I didn't like the plot. I thought it was actually a downgrade from the other Deadpool movies, which is saying something.
I agree.
But it did well, and I wanted to see it because I wanted to see, Deadpool and Wolverine. So people are going to go because they're going to want to see Captain America. They're going to want to see Robert Downey Jr. They're going to want to see whatever. So I think it will make some money, but I think that, do they have it in them to pull it off? I think maybe at one point they did, but based on everything I've been seeing coming out of there lately, I have very little hopes for that. I don't think that's going to happen. There's just too many moving parts here. They managed to pull off the Avengers, and they managed to pull it off even with Age of Ultron was pretty okay. I actually like that one too. And then Avengers, Infinity War, and then Endgame was okay. It was a good end to things, and they pulled all that off with all those characters. We're into this phase 4, phase 5, where we've only seen this terrible handling of characters. There's been only a gem here or there, and we're expecting them to take all these characters plus the old ones and weave them into some kind of movie that doesn't disrespect them and that gives them their time in the spotlight. I don't see it. I just don't.
I'm feeling the same way. And Andrew, I'm going to tee you up next for the same question, but I got to ask you a question. You know me. Am I white?
Nope.
So this is a really stupid comment, and I don't, normally draw attention to dumb stuff, but goodbye. I just wanted to say, hey, what a stupid asinine comment. That's pretty dumb, and you should feel dumb. But thank you for coming to the channel to show us how dumb you are. Anyway, Andrew, back to what you're saying. I just wanted to block some asshole today. Fuck him.
No, that's cool. I respect it. Look, over the last handful of months, my mute and my block button has been very busy on Twitter, so I get it.
Same.
But
people are just like not really with it, and I think they think this channel is some other channels.
yeah,
And I'll tell you this, that's my 2026 goal. You will never confuse me for somebody else. I'll
yeah,
put my face on every goddamn thing. I'll
For
smile
sure.
the whole time too. No cavities. Anyway, Andrew, back to the
well,
question.
that's the world-class difference. That's what that is. So I understand trepidation. I understand hesitancy. Like I said before, I'm not like overly enthused for this. However, I venture to say that no one is necessarily a like beyond redemption. People can turn things around. The studio can turn things around. It's going to require a few things to happen, certainly. I do believe that it's possible that this is a good movie. I'm willing to wait until I actually watch the thing from opening credits to ending credits in order to like make that actual decision. Do I believe that's what's going to be the case? I don't actually know yet. I think as much as I don't like basing things off of trailers, I think if I get a good feeling from the actual official trailer for this, and same thing with Spider-Man Brand New Day, I'll probably make a stronger opinion on whether or not I think the movie's going to actually have a good shot at being at least decent. Like this doesn't have to be mind-blowing, guys. All right, here's the thing. We can talk about whether or not a movie is objectively good on, a set of metrics, right? Did it have a proper structure? Did it do dialogue really well? Did it do all these sorts of things? And did it make sense? At the end of the day, Hollywood is a business, and if the movie is even only halfway decent, but the general audience and most of the people that go to see it have a good time with it, it's going to make money and it'll do well. And at that point, you kind of have to ask yourself sometimes, like, and I already know what some of the pushback is going to be. It's like, well, a movie can be both fun and good. You don't have to just have it be fun and not good. And I would agree with that. But I would rather watch a movie that is maybe actually really only okay, but I had a ton of fun with it, than a movie that does almost everything right. And I'm just like, well, I mean, that was a good movie, but did I like walk out of it with a smile? Did I have a really fun time watching it? Did I have a good experience with my family or significant other, things like that? That's what these movies are missing right now. They're missing that experience that we all used to have when we were watching them, having a laugh while we were watching them, being shocked and awed, right? When stuff happened on screen. That kind of energy is missing, right? Say what you want about all the things that Endgame did wrong, and it did a lot of things wrong, but it did still have moments that had people on the edge of their seats, had people shocked, had people losing their minds. You don't get that in these movies anymore. And that's the kind of energy they need to recapture. It does need to be done with more than just like, oh, hey, we're seeing a pair of boots walk. We're just keeping the camera on the heel, right? And all of a sudden somebody steps out into the light. Oh, it's so-and-so. Great. Yeah. It needs to be more than that. You have to have actual cool, memorable moments. Just somebody walking in and showing up just because we haven't seen them in, 5, 6, 7 years. That's not good enough. You need to do better than that. But I do think they can do that. If they're going to make this cameo the movie, use those cameos right. Do it well. Make me give a damn that those characters are in this movie. You could do that. I fully believe they're capable of that.
At the end of the day, I do want... So I consider something like... Okay, first off, I keep comic book movies in a separate window of cinema. I don't put them in a top 10 list. I don't discuss them like I discuss other movies, because to me, I lower my expectations, because comic books and superheroes are just their own thing. They have different logic, things that defy reason. You just buy into it because you buy into the world. If you buy into the guy can, climb the walls and swing on webs, it's not a stretch that his girlfriend's just always okay with him being a superhero. You don't need to add the real life stuff. So I keep comic books in a certain window. But like, I consider The Winter Soldier a very serious and quote unquote, in their logic, realistic superhero movie. But I also like something as over the top as like the keeping the realism with like Civil War. I think if they're like, Jeff, what's the tone you always want to go for? It'd be Civil War, because you have cameos, you have jokes, you have big impactful moments, you have deep emotional moments, you have all of these things in a 2.5
Yeah, the only time
hour
Tom
window.
Holland was Spider-Man.
He was great. Or my favorite part of that movie, which is one of my favorite parts of any of these damn movies, is when the Black Panther keeps Baron Zemo from shooting himself in the head, and he goes, "The living aren't done with you yet." It's character growth, because it's like, he's hunting him down the whole movie. Then he learns the truth. Then he wants justice. Like, that's to me is like what depth is to a superhero movie. That's what I'm looking for, to have that consistently. No excuses, no jokes for the sake of jokes. Like Taika Waititi was not a good choice for Thor.
No.
Give me not Stellan Skarsgård, that's the actor. Kenneth Branagh, bring him back, or don't. But you know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm looking for Thor. There's certain elements that I was looking for, and if this is cameo of the movie can actually feature moments where it actually matters, and you feel like you're not wasting time.
Yep.
Script.
Bingo.
What do you think about the cameo of the movie? Anything you want to add to what we're talking about? Did John Landis direct this one too?
Oh God, John Landis, geez. I'm glad listen, he did his stuff, but he was a fraud.
I love the honesty that always comes from you, because he hasn't done a worthwhile movie in 36 years.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Well, people got wise to what he did. Like, I mean, a lot of people credit him for Animal House and American Werewolf and London.
Places.
But Animal House is mostly like Ivan Reitman did a ton of work on that and didn't get any credit for it. And then American Werewolf in London, he basically relied a lot on other horror filmmakers like John Carpenter, and rumor had it he's talked to Richard Donner and a couple of other people and just kind of used their ideas in order to get things moving. Remember, this is the guy that directed We're the Stupids.
That's garbage.
And
Grandpa.
He started. Listen, he has a great impact in there, but people know, like, if you're working with him, he's going to act more like a producer than a director. He's going to steal all the credit, say he did everything, and then leave you to fend for yourself. And fortunately, a lot of the people that worked for him ended up establishing their own careers and becoming much better filmmakers than him. But yeah, like, cameo of the movie, like, this is what Marvel is going to be. Every event is going to have some sort of crossover aspect to it, because they want to immerse you into their own world. So if we have another Spider-Man movie after that, we're going to get another character kind of, crossing into the story at some point. Maybe you'll have Daredevil and Spider-Man in one feature film. Maybe you'll also have Spider-Man working with Quasar, in his
Quasar. Nobody remembers Quasar.
He was in the event. He was on the Avengers for the 80s, in the late 80s.
I don't have his action figure. He doesn't exist. I know exactly who he is.
I need that clipped, and that just needs to be an actual button.
Is that the rule of thumb? If I don't have the action figure, it's not a real character.
Yeah.
Oh,
that
I don't
needs
have
to be a button.
Sadly, I have a Shuri and a Shuri copter, so she's real by my logic. I digress. Sorry, script to cut you off. But
no, that's perfectly valid. But yeah, I mean, listen, this is the world we're living in now, where if every opportunity to sort of convince or gear up the excitement of the audience is going to be taken, and part of that excitement is going to be crossovers. It's just like what the comic book industry did. It's we need to increase our sales. What do? Well, let's have this character meet this character, and we'll cross that story over. And here we are. They're repeating the same mistakes that the industry had, which everybody was worried about. But I suspect it's going to come, because when you're working on when you're working in a series like that, it's bound to happen.
I just want to feel something in 2026 from one of these movies. Like, I want to go out and feel. When I left the first Avengers, I felt like accomplished, not as me. I didn't do anything. I just paid to see the movie. But I felt like, as a Marvel fan, we, on this collective journey, finally got Marvel movies that were permanent. You know, we had already seen either reboots or canceled stuff or just stuff come and go. Like by the time the first Avengers came out, X-Men had been restarted. Spider-Man was about to be restarted in a few weeks after that movie. But it all just felt like here we were, and we were good. And for that ride, it was a hell of a ride. I mean, you would go to the comic book store and talk about it. You would go to anybody in a t-shirt, you could talk about it. I was at GameStop or Panda Express. Oh, dude's wearing a Captain America. Should you see Winter Soldier? Yeah, man, it was great. Instantly became buddies. I want that back. I know we don't have the monoculture that we used to have, but I really want this quote unquote digital water cooler, or just actually like a real thing to talk about, because it's fun, man. It's so fun to debate or to discuss. You know, you can get heated, you can keep it cool. It doesn't matter. We're all in this sphere together. And when it is good, when the entertainment that's a part of the sphere that drives it is good, I think it just makes it a lot more fun to be a fan, and it brings us together in a good way. So I want this to be kick ass. I want to walk out of this movie and go, wow, Avengers 5 blows Avengers 1, 2, 3, and 4 out of the water. Like, I want to walk out going, oh my God, what did I just watch? Let's go again. Or I want to get to a point where it's exciting to review one of these movies for you guys. Like, I miss the guys and I going, okay, I'm on my way back from the theater. We're coordinated. We're going. We're live talking about Avengers. Like Infinity War and Endgame, those were some of the best streams or best times I had on a stream, because it was an event that we got to be a part of and talk to you guys about. I want this back as a fan. I want May or September or November, whenever this damn movie comes out, I want to feel something and I want to be pumped. But I got to see something good in a trailer, because Cameo, the animated series, isn't going to get me to go out and buy t-shirts and action figures and video games. It's just going to make me scratch my chin and go, I need more information before I can get excited. So as a fan, that's what I need from this. What do I expect from it? Some of that. But please, Marvel, if you haven't finished the movie and it's not just sitting on a hard drive somewhere, cut out some of the damn jokes. I want to laugh, but not in a serious, world-ending, reality-shifting, you know, this is the moment that everything hinges on. Like, that'd be like if, you know, Spider-Man was trying to save Aunt May or something, and he just rips one, and like that would deflate the movie, and you're like, oh well, I don't care anymore. I'm out of the moment. Please, Marvel, don't take me out of the moment. Give me something that I can't wait to go back and watch and buy, and just stop with the Disney Plus series. And that's not make them good. It's just stop. I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't care about any of them anymore.
Or make Disney Plus series, but make them completely disconnected from the MCU.
Good choice.
Make it disconnected. Daredevil, Netflix is one of the best examples of this. It was one of the best Marvel shows. It wasn't connected necessarily. They don't have to connect it to a gigantic universe. Just take a character that maybe like a C-rank character or whatever, maybe a character that nobody even really knows about, and make a good show, spend money on that, instead of making things like, for example, The Acolyte, where they spent a ton of money on this show that's garbage, or Ironheart or whatever. We don't need those. Take the money that you would make for those shows, stop trying to connect it to a greater universe, and make a show about a character that just happens to be from the MCU or part of the MCU, but like isn't connected with anything. Like,
well, that's called a multiverse story.
But they won't do that. That's the thing. We don't get that. We get the closest we're going to get is, oh, well, what if this happened? It's a multiverse thing. And it's like, oh God, I don't want to see any more of that. I'm tired of it. It's so boring.
Dude, you hit the nail on the head with multiverse stuff being boring. I feel like it's an excuse to just sell you the same thing 2 and 3 times. Like, I love Spider-Man. I got way too many action figures for a grown man, but I'll just buy Spider-Man. I don't need this version of Spider-Man and that one and that one. It's like, they save it for the toy shelf. Don't put it on screen, because it just creates visual vomit. I don't have any. Who do I cheer for? What do I watch? You know, it's just you're throwing stuff at me. You're not telling me a story. I think multiverses are the laziest thing. I've been saying it for years, folks. Go back, quote me on that one. But yeah, I'm glad you brought up the Daredevil show. That show, when that dropped in 2015, man, I was like calling my buddy on the show, Dion. I was like, dude, did you watch the hallway fight? Yeah, man, it was great. Did you get to this episode? It was awesome. Like, that's what I'm shooting for. That kind of like hype. It can come back.
And no. Now we get the Daredevil Born Again, where we get I started trying to watch it. I checked out after, I forget exactly what was going on. They had some character who robbed a store for like what was it, like some sort of candy or something? I forget. I literally like blanked out part of it from my brain. But he like, however, he's basically making jokes about, "Ha, you blind," and it's like, oh god, just kill me now. I just don't want to watch anymore.
I'm not saying that, like, the characters need to act like us, the fans, but could they act like normal human beings? Because they're written to be like poppy on social media to get people to quote, but all the best stuff, like from the 80s. The 80s is the decade I consider the best for movies. The great quotable stuff isn't annoying. It's just really good dialogue or funny stuff or weird things we gravitate towards. Like, there's nothing annoying about Back to the Future, but I could quote the whole movie, but there are so many great quotable lines. I think today they're always looking for that like social media soundbite, but it's never a good social media soundbite. Like, do you guys remember Agatha All Along? The show
Oh
that
my
got
god, that was
monetized on
so
Twitter?
bad.
Do you want, like, is Agatha Harkness going to come back? Because if she does, treat her like Captain Marvel in the last
She's
Avengers.
a ghost
Punch her
now.
out.
She's a ghost now. Don't you know?
I didn't finish the show, dude. It was so bad.
Yes, I know. And I love that their brilliant marketing strategy, everybody just thought they were just lazy and kept changing the name of the show. They're like, oh, no, we kept changing it because it was Agatha all along. And everybody's like, we just thought you were lazy and kept changing the name to try to make it more appealing. Like, nobody actually thought they were doing marketing. Like, it just didn't work.
I just thought, I didn't even realize. I mean, I was aware of that and stuff, but I never thought of it. I'm like, oh, stuff gets name changes all the time. I change names to my own books and stories. But see, that's the one thing I hate about Marvel fandom is they try to make excuses or read meaning into stuff that isn't necessarily always there. And Marvel then tries to play on that expectation so no one gets disappointed. It's like, of course, all of these things are in here. Of course, this is exactly what you want. Like when you serve every master, what is it? Something jack of trades, master of none, or whatever. Like Marvel doesn't master anything anymore. They just I don't know. They dabble in it all and they don't really hit home runs with anything. So enough lame comparisons aside, is there anything we should discuss in terms of moving forward? This is a big audience and we have a lot of people that seem interested in the topic. Is this going to be the game changer? Is the Avenger logo just going to open wallets and make people forget about the last 6 years?
It's their opportunity for that.
It's their best. It's their best option. I was going to say. I was going to agree. Yeah, it's their best chance they got.
If they're wise, they're gonna swing for the fences and do it with like their all-stars actually on the field, rather than putting focus on the B team and the C team. Don't tease me with Cap, with Tony, with Thor, and then they're just kind of there. Make them impactful. You do that, people will show up in droves, and this movie will not just make money, it will make a crap ton of money. And then all the headlines will be claiming the MCU is back on top, blah, 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 blah. And that's what the MCU needs, right? I certainly haven't forgotten all the crap of the last 5 or 6 years, but you give me a genuinely good, fun experience with an Avengers film, I'll be willing to at least say, well, peaks and valleys. Let's continue to shoot for the peak here. Right?
Well said.
Yeah.
Let's play geek prognosticator for a second before we close out. Who dies in this one? Take a guess. We don't have any. These aren't spoilers, folks. We're just guessing. But who dies in this movie?
Robert Downey Jr. Doom dies.
You think he's only a one movie guy, or do you? I
think he's the one. I think he'll be in it for the trilogy. I just don't think he's going to be the Doom we get in the future. He's a little too expensive.
I think we're going to see Thor die because we've seen Tony die already. We've seen Cap get old already. There's only one character that hasn't. That's one of the I guess you could call them the big three that we haven't seen die. So if they were going to kill somebody at all that people have any kind of reverence for, that would be my guess just off the top of my head. If I thought about it more, I'm sure I could find somebody better. But maybe Bucky. Maybe they kill Bucky. I could see them doing that.
I don't see them doing that for Thor, and here's why. They haven't spent a bunch of time, like trying to prop up a potential replacement for him.
Well, they
Right?
did have female Thor, and she died, and then they
And she died.
But they did it. That the end credit scene showed her in Valhalla, so you never know with the multiverse they could do it.
They could, but I think with how bad that movie did, I'm willing to bet that that's a lesson that they might have actually learned when it came to Thor.
I think actually now that I actually reconsider my answer, I think Bucky, because if it's going to be a thing between Iron Man, Doctor Doom, and Robert Downey and Chris Evans, Captain America, then I think that it would make sense for like Bucky to die, and that maybe to push, Cap over the edge or something. I don't know.
I just ask because like everyone expects a big character to go. I wouldn't mind, like, this is just me being hopeful, but I wouldn't mind if they just, like, I don't know, the Wakandans kind of went away. Like Shuri, I don't want to see her as Black Panther. I know, right? I'm saying that intentionally.
No. Shh, can't do that.
I know, right? I want to, if who I'm guessing dies.
Over here calling for ethnic cleansing. What the hell?
I mean, how? I don't want like the whole state of Wakanda to go away. I just don't want to see Ironheart, Shuri, or the.
I was never here.
Yeah,
I don't want Ironheart or Shuri even in the film, to be honest. They will be, but I don't even want to see them. Just keep them out of there. I don't care. It'll be halfway stupid at least. But you know what? We're dealing with comic book continuity here. We're bringing Steve back from, the freaking 1950s. We can bring T'Challa back. Okay,
I would like that.
You're gonna have to recast him. Get the hell over it. All right.
Yeah,
they won't do it.
Chadwick Boseman did a great job.
He was
and
perfect.
The way he conducted himself as a person while he was sick, nothing but respect.
The
10 out of 10
utmost
human
respect.
being.
You have to recast that character.
It's a business, man. Like, think of all the different characters. Like, Tobey Maguire almost didn't come back for Spider-Man 2. The story is his back was hurt or whatever. So Jake Gyllenhaal was on the back burner. Should they have canceled making Spider-Man movies because the guy was hurt and just never did it? No.
The show must go on.
Yeah, and that doesn't mean you have to disrespect the guy. It's not, but I think it's silly to make a whole movie about his passing and trying to turn it into a narrative so you can milk an audience emotionally to make money in a bad time is very disingenuous.
Yeah, and it results in a bad movie.
Oh, dude, that movie is terrible.
I also want to point out that they did something with Marvel Zombies. I don't know if any of you guys saw that. They had Black Panther in Marvel Zombies, but they didn't allow him to speak. They had Spider-Man narrate and said you could hear him under his breath say, "Wakanda forever," and then it's like, oh, come on, it's Marvel Zombies. You could have had T'Challa in Marvel Zombies be someone else voice actor. And like, come on.
Get Phil Lamar to come back and voice him from Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes. That guy did a great
there you go.
follow-up.
Oh, God, I love that show. That show is so good.
Dude, that to me is the best representation of what the Marvel Universe was at one point in time.
And Ms. Marvel was actually decent in it.
Never complained
Captain
about her
Marvel
once.
was decent. She was good in that show.
You see, that's the thing. A lot of these characters that they adapt, there are versions of them where they're great and the audience would love them. But like we said earlier in this stream, there's a reason they keep going to the more recent well. And it's not pushing. Like, I could understand if it was like to create synergy between comic book sales and movie tickets, but it never works because they don't do the crossover. They don't even mention it. Like, they just assume you know the books. One of the best parts about the old DC movies is turn on the Batman movie. Batman appears monthly in DC Comics. How many millions of people saw that movie and went, well, I guess I should go read some DC Comics. And we have the figures to show that the numbers went up.
Mm-hmm.
Kids. If people have kids, you want to buy them something cheap and disposable. Nothing's cheaper than a comic book, and they can think about it and look at it and study the art. And it's a couple bucks, and it probably turns them into a lifelong fan, which keeps the industry going, which creates new stories that then could be adapted into movies in the future. It was all a big mistake. I don't think they'll ever about face and fix that, but I hope that we'll get the best versions of these characters and no more B-list and no more alternate reality modern day takes. There's a reason why people aren't buying them, and it's not because we're terrible. So this
I don't know. You did want Wakanda to go away, so I don't know.
Just the Wakandans that are on the Avengers team. We can keep the what is it? The Dorage Melange or whatever those ladies are.
Oh, the
keep them
Dora
with
Milaje.
Wakanda.
Oh, they're badass.
They're cool. I thought Shuri was so lame. And maybe
she was.
Maybe my perception has been tainted by all the Shuri copters that dude, Andrew, somebody emailed me the other day and asked me to autograph one, and they said they'd pay for it. So I guess that's part of my identity now. Shuri copter autographer.
I mean, it's worth more with your signature on it than it is brand new off the shelf.
That is accurate. That makes me feel conflicted because I'm happy that people want to buy my autograph, but it's attached to that. Ooh.
It is very fair to feel conflicted from that.
I do. You know, this stream, though, has actually made me feel a little optimism and some excitement. And the fact that we're able to have this kind of conversation in the modern day about Marvel. You know, I'm a comic artist and creator. I don't want these movies to go away because they represent the ultimate success and what your career path is. Like Jack Kirby was still alive, he'd be smiling ear to ear. There's the Watcher, there's Captain America, all these things he created in his, you know, in his apartment or his home in New York City. Same with Stan Lee. I know some people have varying opinions on how much he did, but it had to feel great as Stan Lee to sit there and go, wow, we did it. Like, it's finally done. Because that dude, maybe he didn't create as much as we think, but he was the one out in the 70s in California trying to pitch Marvel to TV channels, to get animation going, to get Marvel into households, even when it was just the books.
There's a reason why he was the face of Marvel.
Yeah, the face of comics. There has never been another person whose actual human face means as much to an entire art form than Stan. Okay, to that art form than Stan Lee. We might like, you know, Siegel and Schuster, or not Siegel and Schuster, excuse me, or Bill Finger. But like Stan's the man for a reason. And real quick, do you think they're going to CGI a cameo of Stan Lee into this, or are we so past?
Yes, they will, because we've seen AI Stan Lee at Comic-Con. We got AI Stan already. I feel like they'll do it.
Well, they actually don't have to, because they shot a ton of generic cameos of Stan Lee when he was still alive, so they could just composite those in there.
Oh, that's true. I'd be more for that, to be honest. Use actual footage of the man.
I will say I did like what they did for Fantastic Four. Even if I didn't think that movie was that great, I did like them having, you know, the back shot of them, you know, from whatever. Like, obviously, it wasn't actually Stan, but it was very much implied to be him and Jack Kirby, you know, looking out the window. I did think like a cameo like that also, I think, would work. I'd be okay with that.
I really liked that cameo. That movie was so forgettable, though. Not bad, just
it was mad. That's the thing. It was okay. Like, it wasn't anything special. I mean, to be fair, I like the original Fantastic Four that we got.
The Corman one?
Even if Doom wasn't great, but I did like that one. So maybe I'm not the best judge of it, but I thought this one was just kind of like, as my wife says, as Raven says, it could have all been avoided if Pregnant Sue didn't go into space.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
She didn't go into space. No reason for him to come. Movie over.
I just don't know, like, where they're going to fit in. Because remember that image that leaked where it was like it looked like a T-shirt that had all the different characters that were supposedly in the movie? You're going to have to spend so much time explaining, like, how they come from another reality, and then they have to team up with the heroes, and just... I don't want a lot of exposition for that. Just either don't do it or just be like, all right, they came from another reality. They're here to help fight the evil that is Dr. Doom. And we just accept it and move on. No more infighting with them. Because it's funny when Johnny and Ben fight, but I don't really want to hear like Reed Richards throwing quips at Iron Man or Captain America or somebody. It'll just, I don't know, feel too much. And with Pedro Pascal being that, he's not a quippy kind of guy. He's a very reserved and slow Reed Richards. So I don't know if
but don't you love his brilliant plan? We could just take the Earth and move it somewhere else.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that does kind of fit to Fantastic Four comics because
I know. I just felt it was kind of dumb.
I was hoping that would have worked. Like, I wanted to see like them accidentally blink the planet into another space, which would save the day, but then create an alternate like.
Or you know what they could have done? Oh, they could have done that. I forget the name. They could have. I forget the realm's name. I get confused. The one that had Annihilus in it.
That's the Negative Zone.
Negative Zone. What if what would have been a better ending is they actually tried to move it and they accidentally moved it into the negative zone.
That
would have set up the negative zone. It would have explained why they weren't around. You know, you could. I mean, obviously this was a different universe for them, but it would have set up cool things they could have done with that.
Could have, but it's modern Marvel, man. They gotta just sell you the trailer and the poster and the action figure and call it a day. We don't get to think about these movies anymore because that doesn't move tickets. People don't want to discuss these things. I don't want any more Fantastic Four movies. I was whelmed. I wasn't underwhelmed or anything. I was just whelmed right in the middle.
I'm sure we'll get more, unfortunately.
It was a movie.
It was a fairly cheap movie to make too, with all the pre-sales and stuff we've discussed here on the channel. So I think it only cost them like $180 million or something. So now, before we do go, we have to address our wonderful audience. Thank you, folks. We have almost 800 people chilling out. So thank you out there in the whole world. Join us every Tuesday, except, once we get to the Christmas week, I'm on hiatus because I go out of town to visit my Michigan family. So, folks, join us on Thursday for our big 10-year anniversary of The Force Awakens video. It's unlike anything you've seen here on YouTube. I know other channels have talked about it, but I was around doing this channel when that movie came out, and a lot of them weren't. So you not only can watch my new take on it, you can also listen to my post-theater review of the film, where I'm emotionally gutted, and then you can even read the book that was inspired by my utter disappointment that was The Force Awakens stealing Solo. So go to stealingsolo.com and check that out if you feel inclined. If you need something for Christmas, last minute for a comic book fan or a Star Wars fan, or just people who like to laugh, I will get your book shipped out tomorrow. So think about that if you need a last minute gift that you can only get from me. But CC Black, 1987. Doomsday will be a 2-part movie based on the countdown. Do you think they can stretch that out to 2 parts, guys? Because we have Secret War on the way.
Yeah, they probably could. Yeah. Depends on how many cameos they put in.
So if the last act is just cameo after cameo, would you come back for the third film or second film? Because I know I wouldn't.
I guess it all depends, really. This is probably the biggest potential issue with having so many cameos is, at least for the significant names, how are you going to justify them being there, and how much time are we going to spend on them being there and it making any level of sense, right? You don't have to go super, super in depth with it, but how much screen time is going to be taken up by introducing all of these characters?
And what do they do with Deadpool?
Leave him out.
Does he play a part? We haven't talked about him once. I recently watched the first movie again. Do you think they should leave him out? I think he's too big to fit in.
I think they're gonna have him in to do that scene with Thor that we saw in Deadpool and Wolverine. They're gonna have to do it.
I had to rewatch that movie because I only watched it once. It wasn't.
I don't like Deadpool. I'm over him. I'm over it. Keep him
Buddy?
out. Like this is too serious of a movie to bring his stupid ass into it. So
I have to go with my logic and acknowledge Deadpool because I do have a Deadpool action figure on the shelf. I have regular Deadpool and X-Force Deadpool. So I guess I don't hate him that much. Xavier to God, thank you very much. He says, would you guys rather have gotten the original plans for Spider-Man 3 or the original plans for The Dark Knight Rises?
You mean Raimi's original plans for Spider-Man 3 so that didn't involve Venom? I would rather have that.
Yeah, same.
I just like Spider-Man more than Batman, but Dark Knight Rises has some decent ideas and some decent execution in certain scenes, but it's like the bad trilogy closer of 2 other really great movies. So it's not good, but it's better than what we got with Spider-Man 3. I didn't leave disappointed. I was whelmed.
Well, that's because they just they rushed it. I mean, Nolan didn't want to do the third.
Do you think it's because Heath Ledger passed away and he just didn't feel connected to the universe he had built, or
no, he was getting tired of just doing those movies. He wanted to do something else. That was primarily it. It had nothing. There's nothing more to it than that.
Look, if I was a filmmaker and they're like, "Hey, Jeff, do you want to do a Batman movie?" I'd be like, "I'll do every Batman movie forever if you at least let me explore."
You'll
Batman.
do Batman forever.
Yeah, I'll redo Batman forever. Give me the Schumacher cut. I'll sign me up for that one. Or he means the original cut of plans for Iron Man 2, where he's an alcoholic.
Oh God,
in a bottle.
I want that. I want that so bad.
Same.
Such a good run.
The weird part, though, is remember, we have to keep in mind that while we would have got Demon in a bottle, it would still have to serve the rest of that phase 1. And I do like phase 1, but Iron Man 2 is the weak one. So I'm going to go with Iron Man 2 personally because Iron Man 1 is one of my favorite superhero movies. I like Thor, I like Captain America, and I love the Avengers. But I just never need to watch Iron Man 2. It's dumb. Like, I get it. Mickey Rourke had done The Wrestler, and we were all enamored by that great performance, but not Drago Vanko, right? Was his name?
Marco, yep.
It's not, that always bugs me. I know they did it on purpose, but I hate the fact that the Whiplash is not Ivan Vanko. That's Mark Scarlatti in the comics. And Anton Vanko is the Crimson Dynamo. So that kind of always annoyed me.
Yeah, I was aware of that, but like my Iron Man comic knowledge is very like first appearances in other books or like Tales to Astonish.
I get way too into Iron Man, but I will say, and I'm sorry to interrupt, I will say one thing though. I'll take that over Mandarin that we got. That was
I don't like Iron Man 3. Oh
yeah.
If you know what, folks, we're gonna do a bracket battle soon of all the MCU. Well, we'll have to do even more. It'll be a fun one. But
that's gonna be a whole stream.
It literally will be. It's gonna because bracket battle is gonna become its own show, but it'll only be an hour. But you'll have 3 battles because we have to keep it rapid fire and fast paced. Maybe 2 in case it's a little too fast, or a little too slow. But be on the lookout for the MCU one. That's what I actually want to launch with. The guys and I are going to do a Christmas one as a final tester, and then next year we're going to bring you the first episode. Completely different show, bracket battle. We've played it on the podcast where we get to the bottom of what is the greatest thing we're discussing. And the best part is you guys have a voice in every decision. So don't miss out. If you're new, subscribe. Make sure you don't miss out on a single thing we release because we got some exciting stuff coming in 2026. Graph Webb, what is up? He says, for fuck's sakes, # cancel Disney Plus. Like as a whole, like get rid of the streaming service. I wouldn't miss it.
I mean, we can have they're going to have AI content on it though. Don't you want that?
It's audience generated AI content, which means that you are working for Disney without getting paid. In fact, you're paying them.
Well, here's the question though: with the quality we've been getting from Disney Plus, would we know the difference if it was AI?
No.
Yeah. I don't think so at all. But
I mean, not in terms of the writing quality, at least.
If Spider-Man's one of those assets, my Spider-Man story is gonna be like, oh, there's that guy that made that great Spider-Man story. Yes, I will do it. I'll test it out once because it's a business expense for me, so it doesn't technically come out of my own pocket. Crouching Taylor, Hidden Swift says, I would like to get good plot the movie.
Me too.
Good luck. We all would. CC Black 1987 says the Thor trailer is like, what is with the internet leaking while we're live? We're in the middle of a conversation.
I did hear about that one that leaked already a while back. I think yesterday. I have not been able to find it, and I'm pretty good at finding these things. So I'm gonna go on a limb and say that if it has leaked, it didn't leak widely yet. But I do know that that they were saying it leaked, but I haven't seen it anywhere.
Shoot me a message if you catch the Thor one. I definitely want to check it out just from a fan standpoint because apparently the prayer to Odin got CC Black. So, hey, no matter what I feel about Thor Ragnarok, I do like Anthony Hopkins and Chris Hemsworth acting against each other when he's like, "You're an old man and a fool." I like Thor one a lot. It's a solid one. Enrique says, "Wait, does that mean that Rose Tico exists in Jeff's view?" Well, Rose Tico is not currently in this office or this home. Enrique, you know where I live. So there's no Rose Ticos currently. They're in my other location. And out of sight, out of mind, which means it's not real. So there's no Rose Tico. You never saw The Last Jedi. Today is the anniversary of The Last Jedi. You didn't watch that movie. You didn't find this channel from that movie. You didn't even think that it exists. You know, December might be the time of miracles and Christmas and all that wonderful stuff for people, but it's also a window of time where Disney released those Star Wars movies. And if you want to hear me talk about that in an analytical, deep cut way that we've never done on the channel, Thursday is your time. It will be live. Follow us for all of that stuff. And if you need it clipped, it'll be clipped in the following week. But Christmas week, I have a ton of new content for you guys, new toy videos, new stuff left and right. Before we go, though, let's give a shout out to our chat. And Master of TDS, where can we find you online? Do you have a Patreon? Is there any way that the audience can get more of you? Because the numbers keep going up, people keep coming in, and I think they want to hear more from you.
Well, you can find me on the channel I run with my wife, Gothic Therapy. We do a live show there every Sunday at 7 p.m. Pacific time. It's called Psycho Synopsis, where we summarize the Psycho that went on during the week. We get a pretty good audience there, and we put out some videos there and some expose videos as well, especially on gaming content and Marvel and pretty much a lot of other stuff. I will say one thing. I will use this as an opportunity. You can also find me on Twitter. I'll say also under Master of TS. But I will say one thing. This is probably for a lot of you guys here, probably, especially the panel. This is probably the last time you'll see me in this form, because come January, my wife and I are upgrading to VTuber avatars, which are changing our looks slightly. So probably the last time you see me looking like this. So
I was going to compliment you on how cool I thought it was. Honestly, I keep looking at the animation and I'm like, I need to learn how to do that. For days I don't feel like shaving. But
it wasn't actually that difficult, but we decided that we kind of want to be a little bit more expressive, and we feel like we got some good things coming, but they're not going to look so different in a sense where like you will recognize them, but they're going to be a little more expressive and moving and stuff like that. So,
well, cool. I'm going to check it out. I follow you guys, and I want to thank you for coming on tonight, man. I know it was kind of a last minute, hey, let's talk about these leaks, but it was a great conversation, and I think the audience really liked it. So, folks, if you liked it, hit that thumbs up button to let YouTube know that you like it, and join us again. Andrew, anything you want to say? I know you got the office day tomorrow, so we're not going to keep you up later, man.
No, I actually don't have an office day tomorrow. What I do have is my vacation starting. I'm going to be going and visiting my folks through Monday, so no work for me, which I'm very thrilled about. It'll be nice to have a little bit of a breather. It's been a busy year, and that's a good thing. It's a good problem to have. But I'm ready to take a few days and relax and hang out with my folks, the corgi, and have a good time. Maybe my dad and I will catch a movie. Don't know what. I have no idea actually what's
Hopefully
in
it's not
theaters
Avatar.
right now. Not going to be Avatar, because I don't think either of us has seen the second one, now that I think about it.
Dude, you know what I'm going to see this Christmas break? Anaconda. That looks awesome. It looks so self-aware. I can't wait to see it. Paul Rudd's the man, so I'm going to go support that one on Christmas Day.
There's a new Anaconda?
Yes,
it's about tell them, Script.
So it's a comedy. I read the script a few years back about these two guys that decide to make or remake Anaconda for themselves. And they end up using a real anaconda. And of course, things go bad.
Yeah, the trailer looks great, dude. It's Jack Black, Paul Rudd. Who's the woman in it? She's real famous too.
What day does this come out?
Christmas
Day. My dad and I won't be able to go see it then, unless there's we wouldn't be able to go see it together. I'm actually gonna check that out though, because that actually kind of sounds like stupid fun.
It is.
Script, where can we find you on the internet, man? And I heard there's a Patreon with some great content and stuff for people that want to become screenwriters and learn about the craft of storytelling.
Yes. So for the rest of the year, unfortunately, just due to a little bit of a minor emergency, everything's taken care of. Everybody's good, but I won't be able to do script on Saturdays for the rest of the year. So we'll be back in January. In the meantime, you can check out my Patreon. I'll post a couple of interesting little notes and articles there, but I've got a massive archive, over 300 posts talking about scripts, screenwriting, storytelling, outlining, various analyses and reviews of film and television. Heck, if you are a big fan of Landman, I reviewed that script before it was even produced. So you can find that on my Patreon and see how it started and how it is today. So I got all of those things there. I'm going to have some other stuff. I'll probably do a little review commentary on the Supergirl trailer and then the compare and contrast to the 84 film, which is terrible, but has a couple of interesting moments to it. And I'm waiting just to hear back from a colleague who knows some pretty fascinating things about the development of the original Supergirl film and what it was going to be and how it was going to be a two-hander with Christopher Reeve and Helen Slater. Ooh. So, I'll share with you guys that. Oh, Buck Rogers. Cool.
He passed away, sadly.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, Gil Gerard. I just wanted to say, folks, we're all pop culture junkies. We love sci-fi, fantasy, all that stuff. And a lot of people love Buck Rogers. So we always like to give a, like a rest in peace respect thing to anybody that passes away in our sphere. So for those who didn't know, Buck Rogers passed away. But go check out the show if you've never watched it. Did you know that that's the reason the Buck Rogers show is the reason why the rocket firing Boba Fett doesn't exist? Because a kid choked on a Buck Rogers toy, they shot it into their mouth, and Kenner got scared and glued all the jetpacks into Boba Fett. So there's no more rocket firing Boba Fett. There's your factoid for today. But guys, I'd like to thank everybody for watching. I'll be back, like I said, on Thursday with the video, and Thursday night at 8:30 p.m. for another stream where we'll talk about some of the crazier elements of this week in popular culture, and we'll discuss the Rob Reiner stuff and things that are, generally in the pop culture sphere right now. But be on the lookout for some holiday fun. And if you backed Stealing Solo 2, thank you. It was a success. We did more than double than we planned, and it's done. I'm sorry I don't have anything exciting to tell you. But until next time, folks, thank you for watching. Be smart, be safe, be cool, but always be excellent to each other.
God.